All right, let me know if it pop up on YouTube. You gonna
I
have to put
also
it.
got a devil on my forearm.
A devil.
Yeah,
Jonathan
plus a
Coachman.
skull.
Post that in the chat if it's up. D. Chainley is in for a crash course in learning with this change the center. Good luck. Conference championship. Wild to hear the Bengals are looking to move on from Derek Stingley Jr. Conference championship. Would the Bills really trade Brandon Bradford? Rumors are swirling. Matthew Berry. Charles Davis, after a breakdown regarding his role, the Raiders have announced they are open to trade talks for tight end Iman Baptist. What's going on with Iman out this bitch? He don't want to be a part of the Raiders no more. The niggas out here trying to trade right away. They out here trying to get to it. Get to it. It's all about that. It's all about that. It's all about that. It's the right way to go. It's all about that. People are curious. They turn to Google. Google. Let's talk about it.
Ravens live.
As we turn up, we turn up. All right, so Charles Davis is talking. Let's talk about who else is talking out this bitch. Jonathan Coachman. If Quinnen Williams get traded, this could have ripple effects across the league. Quinnen Williams old as shit right now. Seahawks, 49ers battle for the NFC supremacy. We're looking at competing for a conference title means the world to coaches, Pete Carroll and Kyle Shanahan, who will leave no stone unturned in their preparation. Hitter, once again, we have an NFC West matchup in the AFC Championship. Now, we haven't saw this in 2 seasons. The Chicago Bears has interrupted the NFC West over the last three seasons. But in the divisional round, they lost a one-score game to the Seattle Seahawks. Which was a big conversation in the chat earlier in the regular season when the Bears came through and crushed the building, and they talked about it. You heard a lot of the NFC West coaches talking about Chicago and their uproar that they did in the NFC this year. Although it's been a 2-year run,
Packers.
3-year run actually, I think they kind of paid attention to it a little bit more this season. New scheme, new offense, new team, new defense, new players putting in work, doing things. The Chicago Bears turned up with Justin Fields, same old quarterback, new results. But he lost a big time game we'll talk about in the playoffs where, they made a promise that they were going back to the championship game, and they happened to play the Super Bowl back-to-back champs in the Seattle 12th-man Seahawks. But the Niners are back in the battle for the chance to go to the Super Bowl. And on both sides, here we got the NFC West going at it to figure out who's going to the bowl for the NFC. And for the first time in forever, I would think since the 8 seasons we've played, this is going to be the first time we have a division matchup in the AFC Championship. Baltimore versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. How you feel about that matchup, man?
I'm excited to see. The Steelers pulled off a big upset last round, and I think they're still on that upset tour.
Man, they are a very interesting football team. I think Coach Big Quad Dare is in a situation to prove some of the things that his peers have been saying about him. Right, you got peers that don't believe and peers that do believe in who he is as a Madden player. And you got those players like us who say he's definitely a top dog in the league when he wants to be. And then you got those guys that say, I don't see what the hell y'all talking about. Y'all just saying that because that's your boy. Well, he's in the AFC Championship game, 1 game away from taking the Pittsburgh Steelers back to a Super Bowl. When I say back, I mean in real life, man, these guys ain't been there in over, 10, 15 years? But the Steelers are rich in tradition when it comes down to playing their Super Bowls. So we know what they're capable of. Completely know what they're capable of. We got some big matchups though, man. I can't wait to talk about this stuff. How y'all doing tonight, man? Let's get into it, man. It's the franchise guru. We here with Snoop Dogg, and my boy Hitman Holla. You already know how we coming, man. New playoff chapter will be written as either Pittsburgh, Baltimore walks away as champions of the AFC. All right, 49ers and the Rams win over games. I don't want to talk about those yet because of the fact that we're going to break down the playoffs. Very, very extraordinary conversations of the playoffs. Right now, we're going to get into some things right now. Hitter, the league name has been changed from 305's league to Hawks Nest, from Hawks Nest to Final Phase, from Final Phase to Legendary. Why did we change the name to Legendary?
Because this is going to be the final tour for Game of Thrones, so I think we're going out in a legendary fashion. But we also had the Legends draft class coming out this season.
Whew, big time. Oh my God. All right, so this is one of those drafts that it don't matter where you picking that. It just matters if you're going to draft or not. Simple as that. That's what it comes down to. Legends from 1980 to the early 2000s. Legends, right? So when you get legends, you get Hall of Famers, you get big time players. So understand my structure. Do I give out this hint hitter or do I shut the fuck up?
Let's keep a lid on it for
Let's
now.
keep a lid on it. All right, we're gonna keep a lid on it though. But if you look at the top 10 prospects of this year's draft, you're looking at one, Florida State's own
What team
prime
will
time, Deion Sanders.
now?
If you're looking at, we got teams open, Jake. Don't worry about that, bro. I'll open the team up in a heartbeat. All right, at number 2, the number 2 player in this draft, and these are subjected to change. The top 10 might not be the top 10 that we see right now. Might not be the same top 10 that we're going to see by the time we get to the draft. But prime time, right now, if we was to go back right now, Hitter, And we thinking about all the legends from 1980 to 2005. Let's just go there. My question to you is, would Dion be the number one prospect in the draft?
I would like to think so.
Right behind him, Tennessee's own Lawrence Taylor at number two. At number three, they got running back Oklahoma State, the Heisman winning Barry Sanders. Offensive tackle Jonathan Ogden. Anthony Munoz. Don't worry about the colleges. I didn't change those yet. But Anthony Munoz is the number 5 player in this year's draft as of right now. So again, subjected to change at top 10. Jerry Rice is number 6. Would you think he would be up that board a little farther?
Um, no, I think he's right where he need to be.
I know it's a question on why Derek Brooks is in the top 10 as a linebacker. Wouldn't you say there's other linebackers that could have possibly been in that top 10 over Derek Brooks? Derek Brooks was a dog for my boy out of Florida State.
Definitely a dog.
And then we dealing with the legend, Sean Teller. Oh my God. Mr. Miami, Sean Teller, man, the best that ever do it. Offensive tackle, Big Cat Eric Williams from the Cowboys, Tennessee. And then you got another Tennessee kid, Reggie White at number 10 prospects right now. So, again, legendary draft. Now, here's the thing. Some of you guys are, in my Game of Thrones league, we get to change guys' names in this league. Real draft, we leave it real because it's exactly that, real. That means every player is a real player. Almost like you're looking at with the legends right now, right? You're gonna get their size, their height, their weight, their speed. We get all that stuff. All that stuff is research. And I really, put the work in, do what I do. And it's like real draft in a sense, right? But we're just doing legends right now. And that's going to be the next two drafts is going to be nothing but legends. So think about this. Look at your team now and think about rounds 1 through 7 and think about your team now and think about guys that are threshold to the age where, you're about to get dropped and all that. If you have picks 1 through 7, you're literally going to get a guy that can play right now from rounds 1 through 5, where you can literally change the outlook of your football team right now. So if you got money problems, you can change that with rookies that's going to come in looking like guys that have been in the league for 20 years, 30 plus years, Hall of Famers, such and such. You can do all that stuff. But here's the thing. A lot of you guys, especially guys that used to be around me or be around me still, we usually pit juniors and legends in the league already, right? Like I might got Ray Lewis on my team right now, but I'm smart enough to know Ray Lewis need to have a 2 next to his name or junior next to his name. If you got a legend name on your team right now, you need to put junior next to it or 2 next to it or 3 next to it, or change the name completely because the legends are coming out and I'm not withholding guys because guys already made those names up on their team. So if you got a Dan Marino, he better be Dan Marino Jr. If you have a Jerry Rice, he better be Jerry Rice Jr. If you have a Sean Teller, he better be Sean Teller too, right? You get what I'm saying? Barry Sanders, you got that? Change the name. I would get ready to change the name because over the next 2 draft classes is going to be nothing but legends coming out. So dig deep. Let's talk about some of these prospects right now in the quarterback room, right? So we're looking at quarterbacks coming out. In the order of these quarterbacks right now, Tom Brady is the number 1 quarterback on the board. Would you agree?
He's the GOAT.
Followed by Joe Montana. At 3, Peyton Manning. At 4, John Elway. At 5, Brett Favre. At 6, Steve Young. At 7, Randall Cunningham. At 8, Troy Aikman. At 9, Michael Vick. Let's look at this running back room, hitter. At 1, top 5 player in the draft, Barry Sanders. At 2, Emmitt Smith. At 3, LaDainian Tomlinson. At 4, Marshall Faulk. At 5, Edgerrin James. At 6, Walter Payton. At 7, Eric Dickerson. Obviously, I had to spell it Dickerson. They wouldn't let me spell Dickerson. At 8, Adrian Peterson. At 9, Marcus Allen. At 10, Tony Dorsett. At 11, Thurman Thomas. 12, Terrell Davis. 13, Warwick Dunn. 14, Bo Jackson. 15, O.J. Simpson. 16, Eddie George. That running back fucking room is crazy, hitter. Like, hitter, where you going at? You get in the back. You got to get a running back out this bitch. Like, oh my God. Like, we going from Eddie George all the way up to Barry Sanders. This shit about to be crazy. At the wide receiver room, let's take a look at it. Number one on the board is Jerry Rice. Randy Moss. Calvin Johnson is 3. Larry Fitzgerald is 4. Marvin Harrison is 5. Terrell Owens is 6. Chris Carter is 7. Steve Largent, the first number 80, is 8. Michael Irvin is at 9. Andre Johnson is at 10. Isaac Bruce is at 11. Andre Reed, the Buffalo Bill, is at 12. Torrey Holt, the ex-Ram, is at 13. Reggie Wayne is at 14. How many of y'all remember Tim Brown? Lynn Swan. Sterling Sharp. How about Art Monk? How about James Lofton? Amani Toomer? Al Toon? Mark Duper? Let's get to it, boy. We got some dogs. Super Mark Duper. The tight end room is just as special. Now, a lot of these guys, I haven't really, when y'all grade these tight ends and y'all go scout them, understand that they're not completely finished yet. Tonight and tomorrow will be my finishing up the rookie draft class. And when we talk about legends, now think about this. I make 400 players. How many legends you think you're going to get? This is why this draft is going to be super deep and super fun. Let me ask you, Hitter, since me and you talking about this, you're a guy that has a really good roster right now. Like you're not in a situation where it's a must-need player, right?
Correct.
So how fun would this draft be for you, knowing that it's going to be names on here that becomes must-needs to go along with your not really needing the need, right? But with these names and these type of legends coming out, you'll find space for those guys ASAP.
Without a doubt, it comes down to not getting your sights set on one player, because if you do, you'll miss out.
You're gonna miss out like crazy, right? From offensive linemen to D linemen, from D linemen to linebackers, from linebackers to corners, from corners to safeties, all in the draft, right? We got some big time names out here, boy. And this is one of them situations where you must do your homework. Some of you guys, the time is it's like, you know what I mean? How many of you guys are going to know who Dexter Manley is? Or how many of you guys are going to know who Charles Manns is, right? You got to do some homework to know. Like, if you're going to pick him, you want to know what you're getting, right? And if anybody know me, I'm the blueprint when it comes down to making players who they really are. The blueprint. So you know, if you do your homework, you're gonna know what the hell you're getting. You're gonna better draft something nice here. It's gonna be a loaded draft, and it fits, right? I think it's a perfect time for us to do something like this hit, especially when everybody has a 99 overall roster. To bring out a class like this, to match your team already, it could be a real reset. Like, it's gonna be a couple of guys in the draft that's gonna hit on some really good legends and gonna have 4 to 5 starters in the draft. Like, what do you do, Hitter, if you land your first 5 picks, you land a legend? Are those first 5 picks guaranteed starters?
That's a tough decision. Man, I don't want to cross that bridge right now.
Right. Especially the Baltimore bridge.
Well,
You don't want to cross that one at all. Be careful. Matter of fact, I don't even think you can cross that bitch. But legendary, baby. Let's get to it right now, man. There's some legends in this bitch. Let's go. Let's get to it. So the draft is gonna be off the hook in a couple of days when we get to the draft. This should be one of those drafts where all 32 lights are on, and it's probably gonna be 1 or 2 that just don't give a flying fuck. And as you can see, we got guys that are looking to get in the league. So if you're a guy that's not playing your games anymore, or you got other shit going on, that's cool. Just let us know so we can bring in some guys that want to be here. So I can say it to you like this: rip to those folks. That's a wild ass way to leave there. Yes, sir. Right? Wild ass way. That shit crazy, man. That shit's crazy, bro. Matter of fact, I apologize for even making fun of that shit, saying that acceptable. But that shit crazy, bro. I know y'all got the news today. I actually watched the video of what happened. You know, you gonna have your conspiracy theories and all that stuff out here, but like, you saw a big time boat lose power power come right back on, lose the power again, power come back on. By the time that power came back on, they crashed into a bridge. That's one of the main crossing ways, right, Hitter?
Yeah.
It's like one of the main crossing ways in Baltimore.
And it's also the entry port into the port,
So
the Baltimore port.
that's going to fuck with trade and shit like that, right? Like that's going to
Yeah,
fuck
it's a
with the.
bit. Yeah, it's going to mess with their economy. Their economy is going to be messed up for at least a year or two.
God damn, bro! I don't think people will understand what disaster. So like, you got to count this as a catastrophic disaster,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, not even just the port, but as far as trucks coming in, trucks carrying hazardous material. That was a main thoroughfare for them coming through because they're not allowed to go through the tunnel. They can't take the trucks through the tunnel, so they would have to take the bridge, and the bridge is no longer.
My boy Jimbo, man, I'm glad you commented in the conversation right now, man. I got a question for you, my boy. With a legendary draft like this, where you're gonna get all legends right now, how do you feel about the draft? Like, do you feel like this is a must attend draft? Like your war room, your scouting department, all that good stuff. They need to be on point to be able to bring in some of these legends that will be day one starters for you if you chose to. Like, how important would this type of draft be for you, knowing that you got a good roster now, you can make that roster 10 times better with some of these legendary players, some Hall of Famers, some big time Super Bowl winning players, and just guys that were the best at their position. Hitter, we're gonna leave the draft class right now, man, and then we're gonna get into some conversations about let's go back
Anthits
over.
perfect timing to reactivate the league.
Uh-huh.
Great idea.
Appreciate you.
Rounds 1 through 4 starts ASAP.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, bro. We end up having to make a decision this year where the decision I had to make this year when it came down to restarting and going to real draft. It was a hard decision. I don't think guys realize, when you do something for a long time, it's expectations. I mean, some guys, we got to season 7 and guys are already not worrying about who they had to re-sign and things like that, because we usually start the league and go right into my real draft brand. But because of college football, and knowing that college dropping in July and the new Madden is going to be compatible with that college 25, and Madden 25 going to run concurrent, and that we're going to better make the real draft guys in college go into the game and Madden, that I had to change my ways, right? So my brand, Madden Franchise Junkies, is Game of Thrones. It's been Game of Thrones over the last 4 to 5 years, and then we go in the real draft and we do that disc to disc. So we play 2 leagues through the duration of Madden disc, right? Well, this year it changed up on where we're not in real draft right now, so we're gonna have to do things to push guys, right? You got some guys that just was looking forward to it. Uh, Doing some things. So I understood how important it was to be able to keep Game of Thrones, because this is the last installment of it, and I'm proud of things that we've created as a league, right? And it's not just me or the guys that's up under me. It's the guys that play their games. It's the guys that show love and respect to what we've built, right? Because a lot of guys been here with me since day one. And what happens is we get in a situation where, we're used to things, right? And things got changed a little bit, right? And then behind it is always noise around it, behind it, in front of it, conversations, energy, all types of things go on when you do something different. And I think it's going to benefit us, because I think what happens is college is going to breathe a new life into everybody. And then when you see it connect with the Madden, now I won't be making 2 Madden leagues. From now on, it'll just be real draft and college football. So real draft, instead of starting at the combine when we usually start it, and we'll lose that feel of watching the combine and understanding who you're getting because you're watching what they did throughout the combine and getting their numbers and things like that. We'll lose that, but we're going to gain so much more with that, because we're going to better have a real combine every season in our college. Like, so it's going to be hot. We got a lot of stuff coming up that I'm preparing for right now, that Hit is preparing for right now, that the commissioner team is preparing for right now to better bring something completely new that's going to turn up and really set a new standard. Right. It's called, you got to reinvent yourself all the time, and we're doing exactly that. So to be able to like figure out something to do, like what do we do here, and going into season 9 and Game of Thrones, that we want to see Game of Thrones close itself out and give it its right send off, right? Because this is the last installment of Game of Thrones ever. So with that being said, we're going to have to see it play its course. Now, I had plans on a Game of Thrones being a league still, and I had, somebody that I had was training to run it, but I don't know if that's going to fall through anymore. So the name Game of Thrones is probably going to die with this disc. But again, what do? We find something that we can do that can change some things, that can give guys some new energy, and that's the legendary draft. So I'm looking to make close to 300 players from 80s to the 2000s, early 2000s, right? Of legends that you're going to better pluck through. Like you heard Jimbo say, rounds 1 through 4, boy, going to get to it. Now, let's get into the 2000 and hold on. Let's get into the 2030 season of Game of Thrones. Let's get into some things right now. Let's do a recap on in-season rewards and stuff like that. Let's start with the weekly awards first, and we're going to go to week 1. All right, so let's talk about the players that stood out all year this year. It's going to be guys that you're going to see pop up more than once, and there's going to be some guys you only see on here once. But Justin Fields, week 1, he was our NFC offensive player. Quan Oldham, the running back for the Bills. Cornerback Rudley, and then Jason Voorhees' brother. Jimmy Voorhees' brother Jason for the Bills was AFC defensive player week 1. Malik Willis, man, we talked about him going from the Tennessee Titans to the LA Rams and having a very, very, very good season in year 1 underneath Coach Jimbo. He was the player of the week 2. Campbell, the strong safety from the Vikings. Duncan, he got a rebirth too. New coach, new rebirth. Him and Route both had big weeks in week 2. Week 3, Trevor Lawrence has been doing. Look, the 2 quarterbacks you've seen up here in week 3 have been legendary their entire career. Trevor Lawrence and Dan Marino was dogs all year long. How about my boy Tommy Jones, that linebacker for the Dolphins, and then Phillips, the third, Clark Phillips, that is, balled out for the Falcons. Week 4. You had Kevin Harvey, New Jersey stand up. Eli, the motherfucking best DN in the league this year. Dan Marino Jr. pops back up, and the 6'4" corner Luckett for the Colts popped up. Wheatley, the wide receiver for the Panthers, popped up. Daniels, the cornerback for the Bears. Warren Moon Jr., who had an outstanding season. 596 yards, 8 touchdowns in a regular game. Same game Wheatley went off in 11 catches for 266. They played each other that week. They went crazy. Jules Peppers the second. That means Julian Peppers will be in this year's draft. 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and a touchdown. Week 5. Week 6, you got Kendre Miller. He's been a dog for McCoy since day 1 as a rookie. Dan Marino's back up again. Cuddy Wise, 9 tackles, an INT, 1 forced fumble, 2 touchdowns. And D-tackle Jackson for the Colts. At 7, you had Kaepernick, Najee Israel at the quarterback position. Greg Newsome, the second, still balling for the Browns. And Lewis Fine. At number 8, week 8, you got Kenneth Walker the third, and when you see his name, it's because he's going to do it in the air and the ground. He had 30 carries for 223 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. He also had 116 receiving yards and a touchdown. Ricky Terry had 3 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. DTR still balling hard, 6 touchdown passes, and then you had Dorian Williams, 15 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. Week 9, Warren Moon's back in the building. Barbara at linebacker. You had Drew Rains, who got the Packers. I think Drew Rains and the Packers are going to have a year this year. Heather, what do you think? Season 9, I think the Packers is going to make sure the Bears understand they're not over there by themselves.
Yeah, I think they're primed to make a statement this coming season.
Mm-hmm. All right, Drew Rains. We go to week 10. Kevin Harvey's back in the building right now. Listen, we know the Giants drafted this quarterback just a season ago. This is his second full season. And you got to play them twice this year. Is Kevin Harvey starting to come into his own?
Yeah, he's if you don't pay attention to him, he'll dot you up, and he's primed to take off on you also.
Yeah, he got that run pass threat. I think he's getting a little bit more comfortable in his system, right? The first year he was interception prone. He threw a lot of picks this year as well, but you saw him clean up. You're starting to see the athlete that he is at the quarterback position. You start to see it take its course. I like this Giants football team. I think they're giving us three teams in the NFC East that are going to be really in heavy competition right now with the Eagles, Commanders, and the Giants. Dan Marino pops back up again. You got Khalif Anderson at D tackle and Lair. Week 11, you had Trevor Lawrence and Warren Moon again. Rod Woodson is going to have to change his name to Rod Woodson Jr. M. Ellison also has 7 tackles, 3 sacks, and one forced fumble. Who this kid? Where he come from for the Seahawks? 12. Justin Fields is in the building. Dan Marino, V. Hitchens, and then Kennedy for the Eagles all popped up. Week 13, Napoleon Kaufman Jr. Epstein, a running back for. You got the white boy shitting 21 carries, 250, 11.9 yards a carry, 5 rushing touchdowns. God damn. Okay. Owens at corner had 6 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. And Yasir Abdullah, 13 tackles, 1 sack for the for the Jaguars. Kaepernick's back in the building. Oldham pops up again. Ed Reed Jr. pops up for the first time. And then Jay Weeks for the Packers. Week 15, Trevor Lawrence. You got Jada Styles. V. Hitchens pops up for a second time. And middle linebacker, 3 tackles, 4 interceptions. Ellington for the Seahawks. 2 Seahawks back-to-back weeks. All right, week 16, Fields is in the building. Wolf, the corner for the Saints. Dan Marino and my boy Martin Johnson, the nickel corner. 3 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. Week 17, Malik Willis, Devin Hester Jr., Peter Boulware, he got Peter Jr. on that. That was my old player. And then Ricky Terry popped back up. Ricky Terry, 6 tackles, 4 sacks. And then the final week of the season, Reigns goes for 22 for 47, 553, 8 passing touchdowns. Wynn has 5 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. Najee goes crazy, but he threw 5 interceptions. I don't think he should have been up there with that many turnovers. Remember I was snapping that week, Ed? That was the MVP fight. He throws 5 interceptions. Oh, my God.
He went out on a mission and failed.
And failed miserably. Those 3 of the 5.
After this season, when Super Bowl over, is the first Legends draft class.
Yep.
You let me know when you get someone out who'll replace A.
Got you. Got you. You don't gotta worry about it. We in there. I got you. You got my DM? You in the college league, bro? But AI, Najee and Roey both went off in week 18. 4 passing touchdown, but he threw 5 picks. He was sacked 3 times, and he fumbled twice in that game. They only got 1. All right, DM me so I can add you to the chat. 118 carries, 138 yards. Yeah. You all right? You DM me. If you're in a college league, just DM me. I'm a Colorado coach, prime to Colorado. All right, so that was week 18. Let's get out of there. Let's talk about what happened yearly. All right, so here the Dan Marino Jr. wins another MVP in the MVP race. Our top 5 were quarterbacks. You had Dan Marino, Najee Israel, Malik Willis, Trevor Lawrence, and Warren Moon Jr. Shit. I mean, shit, the next 2 were quarterbacks I made. They were all playoff guys as well. Our AFC Offensive Player of the Year was Will Falk, the wide receiver, in the AFC. In the NFC, you had Brian Bennett, the wide receiver. He was the number 1 overall receiver in the draft, his draft class. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Chambers. So you got the Packers win Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. John Chambers wins that in the NFC. In the AFC, our Defensive Player of the Year goes to Rod Woodson Jr. Right, he took that shit from me, man. My boy Roy was looking to win it again. And we're going off to the Offensive Rookies of the Year, and that was Antoine Justice for the Broncos. In the NFC, you had Butter Baker right now. Drafted this guy. Was you expecting him to have the season he had?
No, not at all.
It started to show during training camp, then preseason.
Oh, yeah. Preseason, yeah. Surprise pick.
We had CBN1 Cam Bentley Newton, who had a hell of a year as well. Eagles came in 3rd place in the conference. So solid there. Defensive rookie of the year. Oh, did I do? Hold on. I want to make sure I ain't missing none AFC rookies. Yep. All right. Defensive rookie of the year goes to Shaq Ward, the middle linebacker out of LSU. This was the fastest linebacker in the draft. 96 speed. He came out. He actually won defensive rookie of the year in the AFC. In the NFC, we're looking at Malachi Barrett for the Packers. The Packers, guys, this is why I think the Packers is going to be in the building next year, because they also had the third best, James Barnett, another rookie that was number 3 on this list. We're looking at best quarterbacks, NFC. Malik Willis wins the best quarterback in the NFC. The AFC quarterback goes to Dan Marino Jr. At the running back position, we're looking at Priest Holmes for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the NFC running back goes to Kendre Miller. He balled out as always. At the wide receiver position, you're looking at Brian Bennett for the Packers. And the AFC, you're looking at Will Falk for the Jets. Jets, Jets. Offensive lineman goes to Ryan Howdelli. That's Nano, his my player. NFC, you're looking at Brett Paul for the Saints. That's what's up. D-line, you're going to John Chambers. There you go, Packers again. Packers popped up twice on this thing, Copeland as well. In the AFC, your best defensive lineman were Will Anderson Jr. revives his career with a new coaching change. At the linebacker position, you're looking at Jules Peppers II for the AFC. And the NFC, you're looking at Ricky Terry, my boy Ricky Terry for the Bears. The Bears had their number 1 and 2, Kendall Fox. At DB, you're looking at Trey Wynn for the Bears, and then Anthony Massey, the my player, my boy. Okay, that's what's up. He got all right. He got his guy there. That's what's up. AFC, you're looking at surprise, the guy that won the defensive player of the year steals it over Roy Israel. Although I think Roy is the best safety in the league. Boy, fuck Rod Woodson. Best kicker goes to my boy Ted DiOrio in the AFC, and the NFC, you're looking at Harrison Butker for the Seattle defending Super Bowl champs. At your players and awards races right now. Let's see who did what in the yards category right now. So the quarterback that threw for the most yards this year was Dan Marino Jr., 6,657. He also led in touchdowns with 82. And then he was 69%. I think the highest percentage quarterback we got that played their games was Malik Willis. He was at 74 completion percentage on the year, 53 touchdowns, only 14 INTs, averaging 344.2 yards a game. All right, let's get to the rushing right now, man. We had 2,000-yard backs, Priest Holmes and Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller takes the rushing title this year with 2,057. When it comes down to touchdowns, he won that as well with 26. And he also averaged the most a game with 120 yards, 21 yards a game. Only 2 fumbles on the year as well. Who had the most broken tackles? Jahmyr Gibbs with 66. Quan Ohan, both little backs. None of these guys are even over 200, and they breaking tackles like that. Jesus. All right, let's get to the wide receivers, and we're looking at the number 1 reception guy in the league had to be Emmett Brown. I really like this Emmett Brown kid, bro. This is his second year in a row having 100-plus catches. Rob got a dog at the receiver, and I think, he's been chasing that this entire disc to have that guy that really is the go-to guy for DTR. And, like, right now, Emmett Brown is that guy averaging 15.6 yards a pop. All right, the leader in yards that win that's Will Falk. He goes over the 2,000-yard mark with 2,167, averaging 30 yards a catch. That's amazing. Now, yardage per game right now, Will Falk averaged 128, and touchdowns on the year, Will Falk won that by 26. Brian Bennett had 24. My boy Perry Walton, the 6'6 Freaks, 23, and Butter Baker, 23 as well. All right, so obviously Will Falk wins that. Let's go to the defensive side of things. And if it's computer love, we ain't talking about it. If it's not computer love, DeMarvion, your boy Wolverine, your boy Wolverine hitter for D West ended up with 122 tackles on the year right now. He's tied with Papo, who also, I think Gator shut it down for a while. So Papo, in my opinion, is more computer stats than Overshawn. The Wolverine. He ain't the Wolverine unless he playing for you, right? Nickname don't stick if he ain't playing for you, right?
No, he's just D.O.
I ain't mad at you. Tackle for losses. Let's make sure that adds up. Yep. Make sure we got the right numbers. Yep. All right. So John Chambers, the 6'6", 4-year veteran from out of Duke at the D tackle position. This man had 40 tackle for losses this year. Bryce Elay for the Eagles had 39 right behind him. So 40 for that. Let's go look at the sack leader. And John Chambers takes over from Bryce with 23 and a half sacks. That's the first time in a couple seasons that we had double a 20 sack season, right? Or a 21, a 23 and a half. INTs on the year right now. Rob Woodson had 15. He dominated that. Defensive deflections. Deion, Primetime Sanders, 2 at 14 of them things. Forced fumbles on the year, looking at 4 from Jarvis Kitchens, the rookie out of Michigan State, outside linebacker, at 4 forced fumbles on the year. And let's see who took some shit back to the crib. 3 from Richard Sherman. I need a junior next to that as well. Richard with 3. Let's make sure that's right. AFC 2. NFC 3. Yep. Cuddy Wise was up there with 3 as well. So it was a tie for 3. And Cuddy Wise and Rich. All right, now team stats right now. Let's go look at the offenses and defenses conversation right now. All right, so the Jets total yards lead the league with 9,000. No, do they lead the league? No, they don't. The Baltimore Ravens offensively total yards gained this year 9,672. They came in first. Your top 5 in this category was Ravens, Jets, Rams, Bills, and Bears. Who had the less amount of yards is the person that didn't really play, and that was the Lions. Let's get back to the top. All right, total offensive yards this year. The Jets win that, 8,282. Ravens second, Seahawks third, Rams fourth, Steelers fifth. Passing yards on the year. The Steelers come in first place with 6,456. The Jets, 6,434. Ravens, 5,821. Packers, 5,804. Bears, 5,738. So the Steelers and Warren Moon threw that ball all over the park. Rushing, we're looking at the Baltimore Ravens with 2,360 as a team. Raiders, second place. Saints, third place. Niners, fourth place. Chiefs, fifth place. Points per game. The Ravens, Baltimore averaged 53.5 this year. They had 1. Jets are at 2 with 43.2. 41 and 41 are tied, Bears and the Rams. Then there's the Packers and Steelers, 39.2 and 38.4. Passing touchdowns on the year. Obviously, the Jets won that, 82. 61 from the Steelers, 60 from the Ravens, 56 from the Seahawks, and 53 from the Rams. Rushing touchdowns on the year. 48 for the Baltimore Ravens, 31 for the Bears, 29 for the 49ers, 28 for the Saints and Rams this year, along with the Packers and Texans. First downs on the year, Ravens 394, Rams second with 365, Seahawks 358, Giants 339, Browns 337. That's offensively. Defensively, your top guys are as follow. First of all, the Lions, Chiefs, and Vikings, Raiders, Giants all give the most yards. Total yards allowed, Jets number 1, 5,412. Niners, Rams, Saints, Ravens, the top 5. Passing yards allowed. So the Lions, Chargers, Vikings, Chiefs, Raiders are top 5 and the most passing yards allowed. But the guys that shut the pass more than anybody were the Rams and the 49ers. 49ers with 3,700, Rams with 39. Cowboys came in third, fourth with the Jets, fifth with the Commanders against the pass. Running the ball, the Ravens are number 1 with I just gave over 16 yards over 1,000. Jets 1,309, Eagles 1,437, Dolphins 1,504, Chargers 1,508. Lions, Bills, Chiefs, Texans, Cowboys get the most rushing yards. Passing touch points allowed. Let's go points allowed. All right, so at number 1, 330, the Jets, 49ers at 349, Ravens at 375, Rams at 407. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seahawks top 5, 421. QB sacks on the year. Ravens had 70 on the year. Dolphins 66, Jets 64, tied with the Packers 64, and the Texans 63. And our Seahawks come in 5th place here with 59. Forced fumbles or fumble recoveries. Baltimore with 18 fumble recoveries, hitter. God damn. Vikings at 13. Commanders tied with the Niners at third place with 8. And then we had a whole shitload of sevens. INTs on the year. The Baltimore Ravens with 59 on the year. The Bears with 48. The Rams with 46. The Packers with 44. Tied with the Eagles with 44 as well. So they go your team stats, your top fives, your top guys that defense as a whole, offense as a whole produced all year long. Man, I think it was a hell of a season right now, which led to playoffs. And we're going to start with the wild card rounds right away. All right, so we have some new faces in the playoffs right now. We got to give some love to the Buffalo Bills because didn't Drew say this in the conversation in the chat? When did the Bills get to the playoffs? They were 0-5, just like us. Well, you had to run off a lot of wins at the end, but what happened was even though they lost week 18, the Browns lost week 18, the Patriots lost week 18, which forced the Bills to keep the 7th seed and got them in the playoffs for the first time. So shout out to Boone for making it to the playoffs. Dish. Because it was going to be, we was going to give him hell hitter if he didn't get into them offs.
I made it to the playoffs,
I made it to the
dude.
playoffs, though. Yep, that's just what I said. I still made it to the playoffs, though. Can't talk about me not making it to the off. All right. So when you look at the NFC AFC side, the Bears had the number one seed in the NFC. And one of the first times in a while that we haven't had the NFC West team actually hold down the number one spot in the NFC. The Ravens had number one seed this year. And when you looked at 2 versus 7, obviously you can see the scores, but the Jets played the Bills. The Texans and D West played the Dolphins. And the Chiefs, Nano, played number 5 Steelers. On the NFC side, you had some big time matchups right away. You had the Rams and Coach Jimbo playing Coach Hitter with the Commanders. You had Mike and the Seahawks go at it. The high kick and onside game.
Onside game.
Fuck. We're gonna talk about that too, man. We're gonna talk about some of that. All right, so and then the Saints and the 49ers went at it. All right, so when we talk about wild cards and all that stuff, the first week of the playoffs right now, it's tricky because what happens is you're in, right, and you got to look at it as such. Damn, we in, and these are the 14 teams that were playoff bound. And on each side, we have some different faces on each side. The Saints has been consistently a playoff team, winning their division every year. But the Eagles, being a third seed, was very, very, very special this year. I think they were one of the better NFC teams completely, right? To take the third seed. Now, the stretch of that is 3 of the best teams are in the NFC West, so only one of them can have a high seed if they don't win the division. So that's a little stretch there. But overall, Hitter, would you say young Cam, Bentley, Newton, and Mike and his offense had a pretty good year this year?
Yeah, had a great season. Playing a fourth place schedule.
That matters too, though. Let's not act like that don't matter. Playing a fourth place schedule, but what's the improvement? What Mike Tillman does with those Eagles is he took advantage of having that fourth place schedule. He did what he was supposed to do.
Definitely, as you can see that from his defensive stats. He had
Yep.
one of the best D linemen. D line, don't just single one person out. D line, period,
He
this
had
season.
two of them, two edge rushes with
Yeah,
double
yeah,
digits.
yeah. That defense was very stingy this season,
hmm
and his offensive game plan was top tier. I put it up there in the top 10 offenses this season.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. We had quarterback changes at uh, Los Angeles. We had quarterback changes at Philadelphia in the NFC, and both those teams played better with the new quarterback changes right now. Talk about Malik Willis in the year he had for the Rams this year. You got to face him in the playoffs.
Oh man, that was yeah. I came into the game expecting to see a lot of Malik Willis. Didn't see him a lot. He was a game manager that game. He played playoff football. That's what you do when you get to that part of the season. You play
hmm
smart, and that's exactly what he did. Not to diminish his talent by calling him a game manager, but he did what needed to be done, and it got him to the next round.
He understood. See, like they got a strict coach over there, and their culture is the coach. Simple as that, right? The Rams, the pieces can change. It's almost Bill Belichick like. The pieces can change all the time. The culture doesn't change because the coach is intact. And I don't care what you're doing in the regular season. You're going to follow the blueprint in the playoffs. And I think that's what you saw with Malik Willis. Malik Willis is one of the best throwers of the year, right? He was a MVP candidate. Like he was that guy all year. And you don't need him to be that guy until he has to be that guy. And I think they are more of an offensive scheme, defensive scheme team than a one player led team. And that's what you saw in the playoffs when you played them. You saw Malik Willis understanding the culture and the coaching and took that culture and coaching and played Rams football. Um, why do you think it was a resurgence with the Bears? They were the hottest team all year. I don't know if they were the hottest team in the league all year, though. I do think the Eagles are in that conversation as well. But you got to give it to them. They were the hottest team in the
Well,
league.
they came off the previous season with the mindset of we're going to the NFC Championship this season. They proclaimed that at the end of last season, and they came out the gate trying to reinforce that claim,
And did
and
it.
it took them all the way to a number one seed in the playoffs.
And had guys trying to figure out what the fuck they doing over here, right? And then
Right.
not for nothing, you go to a schedule. He went through the gauntlet too. This wasn't a Bears team that played a third place schedule, a fourth place schedule. I think he played everybody that was a dog except for the Ravens.
Yeah, he played everybody. It was everybody playing the first place schedule. And he showed improvement. You know, you can't just walk through the NFC West like it's a grapevine. You know, you can't just stomp on these grapes over there. Nope,
Mm-mm.
nope. He walked through. He got no thorns, and he put everybody on notice.
Yeah, because I mean, anytime the chat go crazy over a day and niggas giving, and that's the good thing, bro. Like guys giving props, right? Like the one of the better things of our league is those moments where it's not a
County
lot of
FC North
undercover
DJ,
hate going
SCP
on. It's
NCAH
not a lot
Center.
of guys give their flowers. And when guys do that, that's when, like, I feel like, damn, Ant, you put together a hell of a league, bro. Because you start to see guys, and it's always the veterans that come up and start doing things like that, right? Where, Jimbo could take a loss to the Bears and then put them on notice. Great, you're having a great season. You went through the NFC West like that, bro. Like that's crazy. Like keep balling. Like respect. Like right. Corey has always been a top player in this league. Corey has been one of the worst team managers in this league, and that's why you usually don't see him in the top conversation like you're seeing him right now. Right? He got a roster that can match up with anybody's at this point right now, and because of that, you're getting a guy that's one of the better players in the league. Simple as that. But the Bears went crazy this year. Hit on the AFC side, the Ravens comes back to the number one spot after not having it last year. But if you remember in the beginning, we put this season on Najee after that Super Bowl loss. We put this season on our quarterback. And how would you think he did uh, getting them to the number one seed at this point?
He answered the bell. You know, he came to the table. He sat down and he ate he ate his porridge. You know, some of it was cold, some of it was lumpy, but he swallowed it. No diddy, and
Pause. Pause. God damn.
no diddy.
No
But
Diddy.
yeah,
No Diddy. No
but
Diddy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he answered the bell, and that's what you expect from your quarterback, your veteran quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Put some respect on that.
Because at
Um,
this point, he's definitely that man. This is going into his. This would be going into his fourth season after this year. He's definitely a veteran at this point now. So I respect what you're saying right now. Continue.
yeah, no, I mean, you know, and then when you have the weapons you have behind him and beside him, offense and defensively, you can put a special little situation together.
Yeah, I think the Baltimore Ravens, like this team has been you had two phases of Baltimore. You had the first three seasons of Baltimore, and then you had a team that's restructured the team and started to put the pieces together the way they wanted to. This is the youngest team to this date, the youngest team in the league. And with that, you have inexperienced, great talent, but inexperienced players on the field. And I think they are growing up together, being in their third season together. The majority of this roster has been playing on the same field, practicing blood, sweat, and tears for 3 consecutive seasons where, they know each other. Guys can finish sentences now, right? They understand that, do your job. Don't, because what happens is you get guys that are just so talented. And what happens, what they do is they try to make up for some of the, guys that aren't as talented as them. So if I'm at defensive end and I'm supposed to be holding the edge, but I see I can get in that C gap and I do exactly that, and I make the outside linebacker job harder, right? I think guys are starting to play. This is what makes the Seattle Seahawks so good. Their pieces, the puzzle, they play as a piece, right, of a puzzle. And when one of those pieces are out of sort, you can see the kink in the iron with the Seahawks. But they are a veteran-based team that literally played together for so long that it's hard to do anything on them because those guys are intelligent. Not only are they good athletes, but they're very, very football savvy. They got the intelligence to be able to, do things. And as a team, they play really well together, which makes them very hard to beat. I think Baltimore hitting that stage now with the roster turnover that they had over the first 5 seasons. Now it's been a steady group of guys at those positions, just sitting there learning and really understanding what the scheme is offensively and defensively. So Baltimore and Najee took that next step, in my opinion. So we shall see how things go going forward. You also look at the NFC and you say the Saints are back in the building. Let's talk about McCoy and those Saints for a second. You do know he's been in the playoffs every year with a cast-off quarterback. Let's start there.
Who is this quarterback?
Wilson from the Jets.
Who?
That kid Wilson from the Jets. The guy that the Jets couldn't wait to get rid of. Remember that guy?
The guy that hands the ball off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the first thing. But their offensive weapon is that running back, Kendre Miller. And he's been there from day one as well, consistently there as day one. Um, I think the Saints are in a situation where they got some pieces over the last couple of drafts as well, and some guys that are growing up. So not only are you seeing them as, 8 straight years of winning the NFC South, now you're about to see them be able to give some shakeups. And you got to see it in Week 18 how they shook the Browns up, knocked them out of the playoffs with a big time win over the Cleveland Browns. And I think that's the roster. That's the guys that have been playing together for a while. And you're starting to see it now. You look at the 49ers, look at the Rams and the Seahawks. The Seahawks got a couple of young pieces they had to put on the field this year. But that roster is intact. It's the same, for the most part, it's the same guys still running around doing what they do. And once that culture is there, it's hard to beat a team like that. This is why they are in the NFC Championship game once again. But then you look at the Rams with Malik Willis at quarterback. It's new pieces all over the field. People just not paying attention to it because they're such a well-rounded all football team that you ignore the fact that their running back is new. Their receivers got a couple of receivers that's up and coming right now. And Malik Willis is in the building at the quarterback spot right now. Plug and play, right? Also, guys didn't pay attention to the Commanders having Willie Beeman and not Ahmad Braxton at the quarterback position this year. Willie Beeman found a new favorite receiver in Butter Baker, but talk about him as a starter for this year and not only just the ups and downs, but the creativity you was able to do a little bit more offensively with him as the quarterback versus Braxton.
Yeah, he definitely caught a lot of teams off guard. They expect to see Mari there, but he took a year off this season. So Willie said, I'll play,
Hmm.
and he came in. He gave them a little bit different type of feel on offense, and he found a special chemistry with Butter. A lot of them had a lot of practice in the off season. The second team offense, which ended up turning to be first team. So and it showed dividends during the season.
Butter said when he was drafted, after he got when he got the call from the command center of the Commanders, he said the very next call he got was from Willie Beeman, and it was, "I'm flying you out, and we going to train together with our tight end and two other receivers, and the running back is coming with us. And Butter took on that challenge. Do you think that's the reason why they had a connection the way they did? They got to work early.
Yep, they got to work early. They did a little. They went out to a little college, Bowie State, and they were just practicing on the field all together. Running plays, getting Butter familiar with the playbook, the language,
Hmm.
and just getting them prepared for the NFL.
And it paid off. I mean, that man had
Paid
22
off, yeah.
touchdowns this year. That's big time. You got the Philadelphia Eagles with Cam Newton's clone sitting there at quarterback, and like, I mean, we saw Jalen Hurts. The difference between Jalen Hurts and that Philadelphia Eagles offense was they were explosive, but they wasn't playoff bound. Why did they make the playoffs this year? With a Cam Bentley Newton at quarterback, like they had the number one pick this year. They drafted the number one player in the draft in their mind, well, the number one quarterback in the draft, and that quarterback got them to a third seed in the NFC and a playoff game in the
This is
wild
a
card
Chicago.
round. Yes, it was. So I think the Eagles are, and not for nothing, the guys that are award winners and that are up there in awards for the Eagles, they all young, bro.
Yeah, like I said, they came in with a game plan on offense and defense. That was not seen from them. So it really paid homage to the coaching staff this season.
All right, so now you're looking at the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, the four-time winning Super Bowl quarterback, sitting there. Malik Willis is new, and quarterback Kaepernick. We talk about the 49ers, bro. I don't think Kaepernick was their guy. I think he's a great quarterback for them. I think he fits the system. But I do think the 49ers gave us a different challenge this year. This team ran the football really well. When you drafted Ron Dane, obviously you got to emphasize the backfield they have. They have a really good, legit backfield, about 4 or 5 guys over there in that backfield. And they got really deep at the tight end, 4 guys at the tight end that could be starters on anybody's team in the league. Why do you think they emphasize the run? Do you think it's because they drafted the 6'3", 250 plus pound running back that they knew they had to give the pound game to? No Diddy. But they gave the pound game too, and they ran the football. And I think that running is the reason why they're sitting in the NFC Championship game right now, being able to have that run game as well. But with a Cap at quarterback, they went to almost back to the Jim Harbaugh era in the way they played football, and they ran the ball and played tough defense. So let's talk about a little bit of that. Do you think it's the Ron Dane drafting Ron Dane is the reason why they emphasized the
Yeah,
run this year?
yeah, that had a lot to do with it, and also they know they can pass. The pass is not unknown, so you expect them to come out and dot you up. So if you catch them off guard with the run, I also noticed that you draft for, the saying is you draft for your division, and then everything else is gravy.
Right.
And you look at their division, it's a run heavy division.
Yeah,
I mean,
that,
they pass as well, but the run is what get them get the job done at the end of the day.
and I agree with you. And you have really good quarterbacks in that division completely, right? These guys can be MVPs at any moment. Those quarterbacks over there. But like I do think that was the difference in that division this year. I think the run game is the difference in that. I mean, you got to think about it. Like Kenneth Walker is not only. I mean, we've seen two or three games this year where he had 20 plus carries as a running back, not just the receiver weapon he is out the backfield. He ran the ball really well this year for the Seahawks. And as they bringing up some new, a new receiver in the building right now. They lost a lot of their secondary as far as ability base wise and all that. So they had some things, they had to get younger at the linebacker position. So they had some things that they had to kind of hide, and you do that when you keep possessions, right? And then you're looking at the Rams and their run game. You just saw a kid that I had no idea even played in the league having over 200 plus yards in the game. Like they can line up and give you the run game at any moment over there in that division. And I think when you have a balanced attack like all three of those teams do over there, it's what's going to get you over the top. Simple as that, right? And I kind of like how they adapt to each other. Like they play so much, but yet they find new ways to attack each other when they play season after season. So I love that division. It's the best division in football. in our league right now, and it's been that since day one. They continue to amaze us all with their play. And then again, we have Chicago as well with Justin Fields. I think the difference with Chicago is the attitude of the coach. That's the first thing that comes to my mind on why they're playing such good football. It's the coach's attitude. He's locked in. It's just simple as that. He's locked in. And the other thing is, around Justin Fields, they brought new talent around him, and they re-energized his career. Those weapons at receiver is something different, right? And it's not just the wide receivers, the two guys that they got at wide receiver. They do have a special running back in the backfield, and they also got a really good tight end that they utilize a lot. And I think that's the reason why the NFC, the whole playoff tree looked the way it looked over there with, those 7 teams that we're talking about right now. Um, NFC solid, bro. It was a solid season for the NFC this year as a whole. Every last, one of you guys over there, and it's guys that didn't even make this playoffs. That's not on this tree. That kind of had good years this year, quietly, and we expect to see them in the upcoming season turn up and show us some things. And then you look at the AFC, right? The Chiefs, they're a run first football team that really like since the Red Rifle left the offense alone, right? They went to a simpler offense, right? They don't have a Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, right? They got an Alex Smith at quarterback, but they have a run game in Priest Holmes and Jamal Charles over there. And I think they just simplified their offense. We're going to give you this type of offense, and you got to stop it. And if you can't stop it, you're in a situation. Simple as that. I think the AFC West wasn't as strong this year. The Raiders wasn't on much, and then you had the Broncos missing games because of bowling a lot. So I think the Chiefs took full advantage. But I think if the Chiefs want to be a consistent playoff team, they're going to have to step up. Would you agree with that? I don't think they can slide their way into the playoffs by sneaking in the way they did this year.
Yeah, they're going to show and prove this year.
And case in point, they put up damn near 60 on the Steelers in the regular season, but then when you see the buckle get down and it's like, I know what you're doing. I got you on film now. What we going to do here? And they played a tight game. They did a hell of a, both of them, 24-21. That was a big time game. But you're looking at, I think the Chiefs need to take another step. That's all I'm saying. It's cool that they made the playoffs, but I don't think they can consistently make it, uh, playing close to the edge the way they are. They're going to have to expand a little bit more. The Texans got a new coach, but the Texans are back in the playoffs again. It's not like the Texans coach Antonio Todd left because he was fired. He left, he retired. You know what I'm saying? But they brought in a coach that coached the Cowboys for a few years, and now he's the Texans coach right now. And what we saw was the factor backer over there in Duncan, the big back. That was our first big back of the league, 6'2", 230, 240-pound running back. He came back alive for this Texans team, which opened up the passing game as well. So you got to see C.J. Stroud look like C.J. Stroud a little bit. And you also got to see, the receiver Randy Thomas go crazy over there for them, along with the running back. Like at one point, he was the best running back in the AFC this year through a few weeks of football. Do you expect to see that a little bit more in the future? A little bit more Duncan, the double D guy running power, running football, that them giving him the ball 25 to 30 times a game?
Yeah,
You also got the Bills that made the playoffs, but they snuck in the playoffs, right? This is just a bad. You could chalk the AFC up to this: activity at times, and just bad football being played uh, in some divisions that we needed to be kind of like good. I think 2 divisions kind of was up and down, was really not just not active, but like not playing good football. And I think that's what snuck the Bills into the playoffs, right? For the AFC East to get 3 guys in the offs with their fourth team was a game win away from making the playoffs, right? I think that's just activity in the South and the West. Simple as that. Once those two divisions turn up and these guys play their games the way we know they will, I think the Bills gonna have to improve it too. So I'm looking at the Chiefs and the Bills as 2 teams. To be honest with you, the NFC was better than the AFC this year. When I look at this playoff tree, I'm looking at Kansas City Chiefs at the 4th seed and the 7th seed in the Buffalo Bills as two teams that snuck into the playoffs this year, and they're not scaring anybody as a team that you got to worry about. I think if the AFC West are active like they're going to be, like you're going to see an active Raiders team this year, and the Broncos going to start actively this year, and you got to deal with the Chargers as they get better. But I don't think the Chiefs just sneak in. I think they're going to have a dogfight year, and they better show that they are the best in the AFC West, or they're going to be in trouble. And in the Bills, I don't see the East getting three teams back in. It stands right here. The Jets and the Dolphins are the cream of the crop of that division, and the Bills and the Patriots are just trying to find their way. So the Bills making the playoffs right now, I think it energizes their football team, but they got to show. They got to show the fuck up and show that they can be a consistent playoff team, not just a team that gets in here and there and be satisfied with just getting in here and there, right? You're looking at the Dolphins, the Ravens, and the Jets, along with the Steelers, because the Steelers have been playing really good football over the last 3 or 4 seasons, in my opinion. But I just think, between the Browns, the Ravens, and the Steelers, is always somebody can get in that could be the second team getting in that, in my opinion, right? So the Steelers want to show that they can consistently get in. But when you got Rob and those Browns sitting over there, good luck with that, right? Because they at any moment could be, right back at it and saying, it's not so fast, my friend. So the playoff picture looks exactly as it looks right now, and you start to pay attention to things.
Medium dark skin tone.
I actually got you winning the division this year, Albert. Flat up, and I'm just not just saying that because you're speaking right now. I actually got you winning the AFC South this year. So we start looking at the games. In week 1, you saw the Rams have to take on the Washington Commanders. Now the Commanders traveled to LA in a 27-13 game. Hit a 27-13, man. My question to you is, different face, right? You still had to deal with the NFC West team, but it wasn't the Seahawks that you had to play every year you've been in the playoffs.
Thank God.
Right. And then you look at, the stats of this game. Malik Willis, 210 yards. Only one, he threw one interception, no touchdown, but Beeman had 3 in this game. Do you think that's just being in the playoffs as a starting quarterback for the first time?
Yeah. And also we had a wide receiver run. He ran the wrong route. He misread the call in the huddle. It was one pass that the quarterback just threw in the wrong area, and one of them he's forced.
Right.
So yeah, those are the type of things you can't have in a playoff game, especially one that tight or close in somewhat that fashion, especially in the second half. All those were second half turnovers.
And Mr. Methodical Bill Belichick clone as a coach in Jimbo, he gives you a dose of Mike Epstein and says, take a look at the 5'10", 228 guy out of Illinois that nobody wanted. 14 carries, 92 yards, 6.6 yards to carry, 3 rushing touchdowns, and you see why the game was won, because they did enough and what they had to do to win the ball game. Do you feel like your run defense let you down in this game?
No. I mean, the runs he got were runs that you expect to get, and they didn't give up the big play, but the little ones is the ones.
They kept the chains. They kept the chains moving with 3 guys. Simple as that.
Yeah.
They kept the chains moving. They kept the possessions alive, and they was able to capitalize off of that big time. So that means in that moment, for you to be held to 13 points, I would say the Rams defensively, they showed up. 8 tackles from Matt Elam from the safety position, 7 from Larry Williams, the linebacker. And you're looking at tackle for losses. You had a total of 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11 tackle for losses, so they were in your backfield a lot. D.T. Taylor had a sack. Larry Williams had a sack, and then you had a half a sack from Frank and Spence. The INT guys, you had 2 from Cyrus Jones, and then you also had 1 from Matt Elam at the cornerback position and the safety position for the LA Rams. So defensively, they showed up, won the game, and got to move on to the divisional round. As we take a look at the AFC first game that was played all in the playoffs, and that was the Jets in Buffalo. So now you got a team that played each other for the 3rd time this year. And quiet is kept. That matchup has been a lot closer than the score has indicated when Boone and Falk played every time they played this year. Been really good games for at least a half. But you get into this game and you look at 3 touchdowns from Dan Marino Jr., and then you're looking at Daniel Sharp in his first playoff game, throw a touchdown and 2 picks, sacked 3 times. Marino was sacked twice. but he also threw for 314. In the run game, you had Daniel Sharp. He used his legs, 5 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown. And then Eye Candy showed up, 12 for 89 and a touchdown as well. So they both did what they had to do in the run game, but the run game ain't kill them. But Maurice Teller shows up. When you think Will Falk is going to be the guy, right? You take a look at the Jets,
I'll get out.
and you're looking for Will Falk. And Will Falk had one catch for 17 yards in this playoff game. But Maurice Teller, the slot receiver, showed up and showed off. 7 catches, 189, 2 touchdowns. Bankston as well, 2 for 35 in that game as well. Defensively, 10 tackles from Charlie Strong, strong safety. Charlie Strong, strong safety. Sean Teller, he wanted to change that name to Junior. Vilma changed that to Junior. And R.J. White's cool. All of them had tackle for losses. You look at the sacks, you had 3, Teller, Vilma, and John Teller. And then you're looking at Charlie Strong and Devon Gorey all had picks in that game. That sends the Jets to the divisional round in the AFC. We stay on the AFC side. And this game, we're not going to talk about it too much. D West wasn't able to show up to this game. Forced win was handed out. 17-14 Dolphins win that game. But the game of the week was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers in this matchup. Like, you got to think about it. Well, it wasn't a heavy scoring game at all. The difference of the game was touchdowns and field goals. Simple as that. So you look at the stats, and Warren Moon, 93.3, 315. He threw a touchdown through 2 picks. Alex Smith threw 2 picks in the game, period. And the run game, Jerome Bettis shows up. Gave him 17 carries for 101, 6 yards a carry. Holmes also had 2 touchdowns and 22 carries and 98. Now, this is the difference of the game, though. 4.5 yards a carry is the reason why the Chiefs lost this ball game. Because they're a running football team, and they usually, their running back averaging 100 plus a game, and the fact that he was held under 100 yards showed that Steel Curtain defense, and the reason why the Steelers was able to move on 24-21 overtime. So that was a big time game. That's actually the big game, 24-21. Steelers move on to the divisional round, and then we slide back over to the NFC side of things, and the Eagles and the Seattle Super Bowl champion Seahawks. All right, let's talk about this game for a second. This was the onside game. This was the high kicking onside game. Some would say the Eagles coach should have been fired after this game. 7 onside kicks. Come on, man. And you would say this: the game of football is filled in inches, right? If you can't sneak an onside in, and the guy's prepared for it, you ain't getting it no more. That's why when guys scream, "Oh, it's a glitch," anything you look up on fucking line in a game is somebody showing you how to do it. Simple as that, right? So my argument with this argument in the chat, because you know certain shit gets said and things get said in ways where, as the head commissioner, I pay attention to how words are being said, because then I see who is affecting, right? What guys it affecting. If the person are saying these things to be effective, if a person doing something for a reason, I got to pay attention to that, because I got to better maintain my league and its integrity. So I commented on this and I said I don't see a difference between an onside kick and a high kick. I don't see a difference in anything that showed on YouTube that a guys use. It ain't a guy in this league that don't watch YouTube for help, period. And if you say you don't, I don't believe you at all. Now, what I do know is this. I would never want to see that again. Fucking 7 onside kicks. But I will also say, if I was to ban onside kicks, I will ban high kicks as well. Kicking it high to the up man is for a fumble. Simple as that. Getting the onside is for a fumble and getting the ball back. They're both the same in my opinion. So what I would say is that'll never happen again. One, because there's nobody else that's going to do it.
But at the same time, the high kick is kind of cookie cutter. Whereas the onside kick is a little bit more skill, a little bit more finesse, a little bit more skill based. I say that, now listen to me. I say that because not all kickers have the same kick power. Not all kickers have the same kick accuracy.
Right.
Not all kickers have the same awareness.
Right.
So you can try to
well,
kick to get the ball to stop at the same spot, and you won't have the same result
let's
from
put this
every kicker in the league.
let's put the saddle on a horse. At the end of the day, the onside came from you. Period. Right? But I've seen one person say
I
something
don't
about
think
it.
so because he's
I,
been just fair catch and get the ball on the 25-yard line and not fumble
I
at
and I
all.
and that's where I was on my way to that. I was on my way to that. But here's what I'm saying: the onside kick was a thing that I learned from Hitter. Like, oh my god, like that's smart. But it's a choice, and it's a because I'm gonna tell you like this: if I know you, if I'm paying attention to it, and I see the problem is this: you have to be able to sneak that in, and for somebody to do it as much as he did it, that was just a guy being mad, doing something. I know Mike. I know Mike what Mike was doing. He's mad. Fuck it. I don't care. That was his attitude. Why? That's for him to know and me to know. But that's what he did. Now I don't. I think it's stupid. You gave up 61 points, and most of it is field position. Simple as that. But an onside kick, even though you can fair catch, and I wish I'd have known that in the Super Bowl because I lost that Super Bowl game because I got high kick on some T shit, and I thought I on a 1 yard line. I'm thinking I got to run it, and boom, fumble, scoop and score, touchdown, game changes. Simple as that, right? Um,
You
now
can't prevent it. You
with
can fair catch and fall
we
over.
already know that, dog. We know that.
Onside kick, nothing you
So
can do.
we already know that. We
Oh,
know.
you can
We
come
know. We
out.
know.
You can come out. You can come
We
out
know.
onside coverage.
We exactly. That's where I was going at. If somebody great onside kick it, don't kick you. Don't kick the. Don't fucking pick kick return fast. Wait for them to pick their shit like you wait for them to call a play. And if they fucking onside, you come out onside coverage. And I've never got one recovered on me being an onside coverage. So I'm just gonna say that again. That'll never happen again. But if I was to ban onside kicking, I'm banning high kicking. It's just that simple, right? And that's just how I feel about
You
it. Now
can't
it
kick
is a
onside
difference.
kicks while I was in
It is a
onside
difference.
coverage.
The difference is now I didn't. First of all, I didn't know until Craig told me you could actually fair catch them shit to get the ball at 25, no matter where you catch it at. And that helps. That's big time. So yeah, if a guy want to high kick it, so be it. Now I'm not banning high kicks and the fact that an onside kick, I'm not banning that either. It's just ain't nobody in a right mind going to do the ignorant shit Mike did. Simple as that. Period. It'll never happen again. And I know that because I made sure it won't never happen again. All right. So with that being said, I think he got away from playing football. I don't think he has a chance in that game, period. But I think he got away from playing football by being mad. And that's just the attitude of Mike. He got mad about something and it was fuck it. Um, and I think it's stupid. Now, again, onside kicking. This is my thing. You can find anything. I can find niggas offenses. It's niggas that run shit right now that I think don't nobody know where they got it from. Like, period. We all do it. Well, you can find glitchy shit all like, but I could see if it was like the remember that one disc hitter where if you did a certain thing, the whole defense stands still and you could just run the quarterback up the middle of the field and side to side, nobody chasing.
Yeah, the R2 where you
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
and you could take
that.
off with your quarterback straight up the middle without nobody hitting them.
That's
Under center.
that's a glitch, right? That's the type of shit you like. Oh my god, you got to ban that type of shit. It's just hard for me to say you can't kick onside because somebody showed that that's a trick on YouTube. That's impossible for me to do. You can't do no shit like that because onsides are part of the fucking game. We do remember
Well,
the
no,
Saints. We do
see,
remember the Saints beating the Colts
no, but
with
I
an
got to stop
onside.
you. I got to stop you because there's a difference between showing somebody how to do a glitch and showing someone how to do a certain play. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Hold up, when you watch NFL and they go for the onside kick, can you tell me what the kicker is trying to do when he do the onside kick? Can you tell me what is his goal when he kicks that onside kick?
So you
His goal
talking
is to get his goal is to kick the ball to go 10 yards and bounce up in the air.
exactly now?
That is his goal for his team to have a chance to get the ball back and make it harder for the defense to recover the ball. That is his goal when he kick it. Now, sometimes when he kick it, it go boop 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 and it goes straight out of bounds, or it go boop 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 and it doesn't hop up and they still recover the ball.
Right.
It happens 90% of the time. But 10% of the time, the ball bounces up in the air and it gives his team a chance to get the ball.
Right.
That is the same thing that Mike was trying to achieve. He just couldn't execute it. He got it one time. He only out of the 7 times or 8 times or however many times he tried the onside kick, he got the ball back one time. And it wasn't because it bounced up in the air. It was because it bounced up in the air. It hit the man. The man did not catch the ball. And it sat on the ground for 2 seconds before anybody even touched the ball.
All right, so again, my point to that is onsides are onsides, bro. Like at the end of the day, this is the first game that gave us the bounce high. Like right. Like, how many times have guys tried onside kicks in previous dish, and you never had an onside where you could actually make it bounce off the ground like that, right? So it is what it is. This is what I'm saying. You can't ban an onside kick. But you can't kick the onside. Like, listen, it's only one. It's two schools in the history of football that I know that don't kick the ball off at all. They kick onsides every time. Not one of them are in the NFL. So part of me
And
understand
definitely
that
not pro
part.
team.
Yeah, no pro team doing that shit. So again, that was the attitude. Mike wouldn't do that shit even if I didn't tell him not to ever do that shit again. He wouldn't never do that shit again. I think it was his attitude. You playing a motherfucker that won all the Super Bowls and you're pissed off. Shit happened in the game, you mad about it. Period. And he understands that. I respect how he came at it. I don't respect kicking the balls, kicking onside 7 times. But I'm not saying this. I don't want to see the league, everybody kicking onsides every fucking time. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. We want to be realistic as possible. But I'm going to say the same thing. I'm not banning it just like I'm not banning high kicks. Here's the conclusion to a high kick. Fair catch the motherfucker. Here's the conclusion to an onside kick. Pick onside return. Simple as that. And I'll figure it out. We'll go along and see if anybody is on some bullshit. Because there's gonna be somebody that's gonna be a dickhead. Because somebody gonna DM him, fuck it, do it too. And then they could be like, ah man, and then you try to get a guy to quit, and we know why you want that to happen. So therefore, I will be monitoring this shit all year for the next up and coming. Because I doubt it's even going to be a problem in the next dish. But I will monitor that shit. But I will say this: the answer to this shit is it's the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. But now we know you can fair catch it. Some of us ain't know that shit. I didn't. Or what you think I would have did in the Super Bowl? I would have fair catched the shit out of it and got the ball on the 25. Simple as that. I didn't know that. I thought, damn, I'm on a one. I got to catch this shit, try to get some yards, get the fuck up out of there. Fumble, touchdown, and that's that. But I didn't know that. The guy tells me afterwards, my boy tells me, yo, bro, next time fair catch that shit. I would have did the same thing. I wouldn't have said a motherfucking thing to you. I would have told you afterwards what to do. Well, that's respect. You do that. That's what we do as competitors in the league, as guys that are, so-called gang friends in the league. You know what I mean? So my thing is, all right, I understand it now. Fair catch the motherfucker. On the onside, I'm gonna tell you like this. Max watched Mike and Hitter play, and Hitter got a couple of them bitches back, which made Mike go try to find it and call it right away. He called it a glitch right away too, and we had to explain it to him. It ain't a fucking glitch, bro. It's an onside kick, nigga. You can do this. Da, da, da. Well, all right. What are you mad about now? So he mad. He goes and does it. The problem is you can't do it precise as a person that's been doing it all year, who's been doing it in a way where you ain't nobody too many people complaining about it. I seen one person bring up onside and that was loose one time. I seen one person bring it up and he's been doing it and he'd have been doing it all year. Right? Because he's doing it at the right times and he's not doing it, what is it, excessively? How you say that word? That's it, right?
Excessively. No, I did
Yeah.
it when I was down that game, and I had just scored and I got within a scoring chance, close game. So, and to catch him off guard, I pulled out the onside and luckily got it back. It's not a guarantee I'm getting the ball, but it's a chance you take. And analytics. It's all about analytics.
So my thing is this. Craig just said, oh, the third running back is the guy that pitch your running back there and the guy high carry.
No,
No, no, no,
that
no. Hear
that
me out.
doesn't
Hear me
matter.
out. It really
I done
don't.
had the third
But hear
running
me
back
out.
fumble too.
My thing is just fair catch the motherfucker.
I done had the third running back fumble. So I don't. Yeah.
My thing is this:
It's
fair
something
catch the
about
motherfucker.
that high kick is
It,
different.
it,
It's
it is.
different.
It is. That's what. But see, that's the difference between onsides. Because if it was the regular onsides without that high kick shit, nobody wouldn't complain. You just be getting a fucking ball on the 30-yard line, right? So you'll just be getting the ball where you get it at. Simple as that. My thing is this: it's because that high bounce and the motherfucker coming down hitting your fucking player is the reason why that shit getting dropped like that. Listen. All I'm saying is,
But at
all
the
I'm
same
talking.
time, your player can jump up, grab it, and take off and run straight to the end zone.
I scored a touchdown off that shit. Not just nine. Let me shut up. I just walked one back like that. Like I didn't go hold you. I just
I
walked
mean,
one.
I don't understand. You know,
All I'm saying is this, guys. Just look at it like this, man. Because this is why the chat went on fire off that shit. And what I don't want to happen is, I don't feel like the bullshit that I know come with all this shit. It won't happen again, right? Mike understands that should have never happened again. But we're not banning onside kicks, just like I'm not banning high kicks. We're not banning that shit at all. But to stop it, you fucking either do what Craig said, put your running back there with a high volume of carries or whatever, because you got them. We all got 3 or 4 running backs. Or fair catch the motherfucker. And if a nigga come out onside kick, come out onside kick return. I mean, onside kick prevent or whatever that shit is. Because I've never lost one to this day when a nigga kick an onside on me and I'm in onside return. I haven't lost one yet. I'm not saying it can't happen, but that's like real football in a sense too. You don't know when the fucking motherfucker gonna get the onside back, bro. I'm just saying this: the way Mike did it, that'll never happen again. And I swear to God, I will suspend a motherfucker for some shit like that. That shit wasn't. That's not cool. You don't do no shit like that. I get it. But it's hard for me to. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. It's hard for me to ban a fucking football play. That's a football play. Onside kick is a football strategy. That's part of football. Now everything is video game. Niggas know how to beat cover 3 by running the same fucking setup every time. You can beat cover 3, right? That can't happen in real life, because in real life humans is going to better adjust to that shit. But on a game, the AI going to do the same. Y'all understand where I'm trying to go with this? So instead of us looking at it like this, oh, it's a buzz in the chat, and if guys do that and I'm leaving the league and all that, I'll just go play somebody else shit. Go ahead. That's what you want to do. I ain't stopping nobody from leaving. I've never been that type of person. If I want you, I'm gonna try to. I'll talk to you behind closed doors. But I already know you being talked to behind closed doors. So if you're making a decision to leave, you doing that on your own. Period. What I'm saying is, I will control what I can control in my league. And what I'm saying is, we have the answers to these things. The one answer to a high kick is fair catch it, or do what Craig said, put a good returner back there, and you ain't got nothing to worry about. But I guarantee you, if you run them kickoffs back off of high kicks, at some point somebody's going to fucking fumble. It's just part of the game. That's what the game does, right? And 9 out of 10 guys is going fair catch at the back position anyway. That's just football. So I know that, and you know that. Nobody in this league is going to kick 5, 6, 7 onsides at all, right? I mean, if I got to put a number on it, 2. This is the person that do it. Hitter, you're a guy that do it. You use it part of your strategy. How many times would you think would be excessive?
I mean, I can't put a number on it because it should be situational.
But that's what I'm trying.
It should be situational.
That's what I was trying to say. Like that's what I'm trying to say. It should be a situational thing. It shouldn't be an attitude. See what Craig did was he reacted off of Mike's attitude. Mike did that shit on just being mad. Mike don't like to lose, even though he's not a guy that win a lot of games. Mike doesn't. Mike can't. Mike could play me and be mad as fuck after the game and don't even say shit to me or nothing after a loss, knowing he ain't gonna beat me. But that's just competitive. That's how he is. What he did was something that I said was some bullshit, and I would never do, and I would never want to see nobody else do. He understands that. Period. That'll never happen again. Well, I'm only bringing this shit up is because I'll be a fool to ban onside kicking when that's part of the game, bro. Just because somebody's showing it on YouTube and we have now a new way of it bouncing in the air and they can get to it, you got to understand who league you in. I can guarantee you if you're doing that in other league, and let me know what before I say that, I know you do it in your other league. Do you get it a lot in your other league? But you kind of master that shit in a way. But do you get it a lot in your other leagues? Because I'm going to say something if you don't.
No.
And the reason why you don't is because you're fucking everybody running down on your kickoff don't got 90 plus hit power either. That
No,
matters.
it's a regular
Ethan
league.
was down
It's a
4
cookie
goals
cutter
in the
league.
third. He pulled and did it a million times.
You'd be lucky if you have
That
anybody on
situational
trait
and
over
more
there.
realistic.
That's exactly what we're saying. Situational. Period. So I will hope you will understand that I'm not banning it, but it has to be a situational thing.
It's got to be a. I
I
mean,
think a nigga can start the game off and kick an onside and be have no problem with it. I think a nigga come out at halftime and kick an onside. They could be winning the game. I wouldn't give a fuck.
I mean,
My
if
thing
you up
is,
30 and you
yeah,
just scored to go
it's
up
kind of,
37,
yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
expect nobody to onside kick at you.
You know what I mean by winning the game, bro. I don't mean motherfucking
I mean, if
you
you're trying
airing
to put the
somebody.
game away,
Yeah,
it's a three
because
point game or
I quit that game
7 point
too
game,
and tell you to suck my dick. That's what I do. Suck my dick. Fuck you. I would do exactly that. You do some shit like
I
that.
mean,
You get what I'm saying? So I get
it's,
it. I get it, bro. I get it. And what I'm saying is this. My whole
if
thing
you
is
was
this,
a
bro.
real live legit coach in the pros, would you be calling onside in this situation? Ask yourself that.
That's what you ask yourself. In real life, would you motherfucking be doing this shit in real life if you was a coach? You would have a fucking job after that game. They would think
I mean,
your coach need to go to
you
take a
can go
mental
to
break.
the playoffs, the Seahawks Bears. They was talking about it in the chat. Going for it on fourth down or taking the points.
But see, that's video game shit because in real life, if it's 4th and 19 and you feel like you need to go for it, you should better go for it. That's what you want to do, right? But we know we try again. We have rules this shit, and I get it. I'm glad that this was brought up. I don't like how the shit was in the chat. I hate that shit, but I get it. I get why shit be the way it be. What I'm saying is, it got my attention, and the fact that it got my attention, of course, I'm gonna do something about it. The first thing is to answer this. This is how you stop these shits. You give out the reason to stop it, and there's the way to stop it. Craig gave us a way to put your third running back there at that position, the fullback position, whatever it was. He said you go back and read it in the chat because he did give a gem there. He also gave me a gem after the Super Bowl. Fair catch, the motherfucker. I didn't know that. I didn't, bro. And I'm a football guy. I didn't know you could fair catch on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line, three. It don't matter now because of the new kickoff rules. I didn't know that. Or I'm gonna just fair catch it every time. I don't give a fuck because I know I can go up and down the field on anybody. So I'll fair catch that motherfucker anytime, get it on the 25. Fuck it. I didn't know that. But on the onside tip, I know if I pick onside recovery team, you ain't getting that shit 9 out of 10. It's a 50-50 chance, but I trust my 50% of that chance. But again, if a nigga think they gonna do that shit, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like a nigga can't argue over onside, but then be sitting here kicking on high kicks for fumbles all the time. At the end of the day, you can't. That's all I'm saying. It's no different. That's what I said in chat. It's really no different in neither one of them. They both are trying to get turnovers doing that shit. Or else you wouldn't do the shit, period, right? So that's all I'm saying. It ain't no different than a nigga finding a play. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Jim. Real talk, Jimbo. I didn't know that shit, bro. Or I'd have fair catch the shit out of it. I didn't know that till Craig gave me the gym. Craig made me realize that shit. Nobody else told me that shit. Me and him do every time we play. We talk about our game after we play, and after that conversation, we talk. I'm like, damn. And all I can say was that's something I should have known, bro. That's something. You eat that, you swallow, and you go back to it. Now, in the situation with him and Mike and the 7 tries and all that shit, that's not cool. It's not cool. But it also don't demand the shit that happened in the chat that made me respond. Although it wasn't negative, I just know it'd be undertones to everything. And some people take shit the wrong way. And it don't be the niggas that delivering the message, it be the niggas listening to the message. And all it takes is for them to feel some type of way before niggas forget who the fuck I've been to them the entire time. Simple as that. And I'm being personal when I say that shit. And it's going to touch the niggas that need to touch. And it's going to make the niggas that think I'm talking about them mad. And that's exactly what I'm planning on doing in this conversation. It'll never be a 7 fucking onside game ever again. Ever again in my league. But we're not banning high kick or onside kicks. Period. Because if that's the case, then motherfucking, it's other things that we should be talking about too. Again, if you ran
Zero blitzing.
all that shit, like all that shit's a problem, bro. Like, so it's like it's no, you know what I'm saying. So again, I hope guys understand where I'm coming from. All right, we're not banning it, but it has to be situational, and we'll make sure that's something that we talk about going into next season. Onside kicking has to be situational. Right? Not obsessive, situational. Simple as that. And the answer to all that shit, Craig gave you two ways in this conversation to be able to stop the high kick. I call that shit the T kick. And motherfucking, we just gave you another way of stopping the onside kick. Simple as that. All right. But with that being said, it's not banned, but it's not. It shouldn't be obsessive. Hey Gator, I promise you, I'm 100% agreeing. I'm where you at right now. If a nigga can high kick it every time they score, I can onside it anytime I score. Ain't no different. But I get the semantics and understanding on why. So what I'm saying is, it's situational with the onside because guys gonna look at the onside. That bounce is the reason why niggas is gonna lose their mind over it,
I mean,
right?
right
And
then,
and and, and all it takes,
can
all
we speak on why
Content
niggas
chart.
don't kick it down the
First
middle?
player is
If
return
we
player.
gonna open the Pandora
Second
box, let's
player
do it all
enters
the
player
way.
on right.
But here, as a
Third
head
player is a
commissioner,
player
just
on
all right.
left.
Why don't niggas kick it straight down the middle on kickoffs?
let me just be real and not sugarcoat shit. I'm gonna tell you like this. I gotta do something because it's always something going on that'll give a nigga the
If
courage
we're
to be
gonna
like,
talk
we're
about it,
out.
let's talk about it. Why don't niggas kick it straight down the middle of the field on kickoffs?
Talk. You talking about it? Talk about it.
There's a video for that. There's a reason why niggas don't kick it down the middle.
Cause you can walk that bitch back
Because you
damn
can
near every
walk it.
time. There's a video for that.
It's
Niggas don't.
harder to walk it, or damn near impossible if you kick it to the corners. And that's
It,
a known fact.
but then I start this conversation off as a video for everything.
I mean, but nobody
User
wants to. They
returns
want to
when
jump
kicking
around
down
and
middle.
just pick out what they want to pick out and not really
This can
get to
return
the
kicks
nitty
for
gritty.
TDS. I got big returns back on me.
But yo, that's the crazy part about the whole shit, bro. Like, as much as we want to play real football, there's video nuances that we have to deal with. Simple as that. And you can't just go banning everything because a nigga mad about it. And then I can't let niggas scare me off of shit and not stand my ground with shit because it's a threat of I won't be playing in this deal. I can't play in here no more if that happens. This and that. Da, da, da. I can't allow that. I want to protect most of the guys in this league because I respect the guys that been here and respect what I got going on. But I also know the shit that go on, bro. So I gotta know how to manage some things like that. So it's like you can't address one without addressing the other, and that's all I was doing with this whole situation. I don't see a difference between the two. Anything that's there for a turnover is the same to me. They both the same. They both trying to get turnovers. One is different. One is not. One is a short bouncy kick. One is a high kick that run under and let your 95 hitting power linebacker knock the shit out your fucking
And get it right by
receiver and
get it
get it
right by
right
the goal
back.
line.
Pick that shit up for touchdowns and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it ain't too much of a difference. But I get it. You know, the onside is going to be a thing because most guys can go right on, do it right. What did Mike do the moment he got out of that game with you?
He
When
went to practice. He went to practice
he
and
did
tried to learn how to do it.
he didn't go to practice first. What he tried to
Oh
do is
yeah,
he
yeah. I
tried to
mean,
discredit you first right away. That onside glitch shit, they ain't no glitch, bro. That's football. What the fuck you talking about? I'm watching the video right now, and I'm saying I don't give a fuck about you watching the video right now. It's still football, my nigga. Like, and what I say to you, if I'm you, I'm using that shit every game. I tried it and can't get it. I don't get them shits. I got it
If
one
certain
time.
users got extra possessions, it would be crazy. Niggas would be quitting.
But the niggas do. First of all, Craig, you one of them niggas, and you get extra possessions by high kicking it. So what you talking about? It's the same shit. I'm just saying, ain't nobody gonna be onside kicking
We
all
got
game
a
long. That's
second.
all I'm
Let's
saying.
move on.
All I'm
Lawler and
saying
Mike on
is
the
niggas ain't gonna be doing what
situation.
Mike did. 7 of them in a game is fucking
Situation.
retarded. What I'm saying is, motherfucking, I seen niggas get 3 or 4 high kick fumbles. I've seen it. Shit, T had niggas letting that bitch bounce. Remember that shit? T had niggas letting that bitch bounce and
hey,
taking their
because
chances with it going out of bounds
that first
or you
man
picking it
down
up.
and he hit that running back, it's a wrap. He's fumbling.
So it ain't. So that's extra possession. The
Onside
fuck?
kick second quarter is not the same, dog. You saying anything?
How about we just do this? Let's just agree not to agree because it is the same to me. Onside and high kicking is the same to me, bro. Like the only I don't know what the difference of it is
You
if
have
it
been
is.
But
prevented
the
from
high
fair
kick
catch
is
sentences.
deadlier because you right by the end zone. At least on the onside, you have to go 50 yards to score.
You can't. Let me ask you this: Did he get one of those? Did he get those onsides he recovered? Did he get them while you was in onside recovery? Or did you pick return, not expecting him to pick onside? Because that matters to me. That'll make me make a different decision because I've never seen it done yet
Kick
where a nigga picked
return.
onside. He got two while you was in onside recovery. Not he just got two. He got two while you
Do
had
you need to
why.
post them?
Bro. It ain't. It's a yes or no question. I'm just asking. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm asking you. I didn't watch the game. I didn't give a fuck about that game. I'm saying, did he get it while you understood it was coming and was able to? Because remember, you hear me saying the way to stop it is by kicking return recovery, onside recovery, right? And if he's still getting them while you're in recovery, and I know hitters still know how to do it, but if he's getting them, then it makes a difference in my opinion. So instead of let me show the film, I don't care about all that. It's just a yes or no question, really, because then I can make a decision off of that. That's all I'm asking. Did he get them shits while you was in kick return onside? If he got them, then I'm like, all right, well, that's a little different. It's a different conversation, period. It don't have nothing to do with nothing else. It's just a different conversation. I didn't watch the game. I don't know what happened. I just know y'all went to the chat with it, and the chat went up uproar, and niggas had their opinions on it, and I understood that. So then I
You
say
had
what
one
I
as a
say.
regular kick return and one while I was in onside kick. The one after halftime was genius cause I picked kick return and could.
And to me, that makes the difference. That's all. That's all I'm asking, Craig. Is a difference being prepared for it than not. Because look, even if I'm motherfucking now, the only thing about the difference with the high kicking is if you fair catch it, it ain't nothing going down at all, and you get the ball on the 25. So I get that part. But this shit ain't too much no difference than me. Most guys are trying to return them shits, bro. And if a fumble happens, it's for a turnover. Let me ask you this. You don't kick the high kick just to kick it because that's what you feel like fucking doing. You kick the motherfucker so you can make a nigga fumble and get the ball back. If I'm wrong, I'll take that back, but I don't think nobody high kicks it just to be high kicking it. That nigga T did it to us, made us fumble every time we played this nut motherfucker. He made everybody he played fumble at least once. And niggas pick it up and do it right back. That's the game, right? Don't we all do that shit? Niggas get a play and niggas see it working, nigga run it. I just know this, bro. It got to be situational. I can't ban an onside kick though. Like, tell me how I'm supposed to ban an onside kick. How am I supposed to ban that, hitter?
I mean, I can't answer that question because it's in football. It's they, they call it in college, they call it in high school, they call it in pros.
We can make it
They don't they
situational though.
they
It
don't
has to
call
be,
it they don't I mean they don't call it every time all game. I tell you that unless you know that
and
one
and
special team
and that's the
that
problem I
plays
got.
like Navy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the problem I got
Because they
where
can't return and
where
most of the times they never get to the
that's the
20
problem I
yard
get
since
right there.
normal field. The
Where
fumbles are
if
not effective when.
a nigga can't do what Mike did, period, right? But I'm not banning onside kicks. What we're
But you
doing is
also
we're saying
realize that team is
situational.
ass,
I
and
never said ban
it's
it.
the analytics
I'm
show
just
that
saying the
they
shit
have a
was
better
lame,
chance of
that's it.
50-50
That's all I'm
onside than they
saying.
do anything else. That one high school team that did that.
Yeah, so onside kicking is part of football, and there's a 50-50 chance you do anything. You throw a pass, there's a 50-50 chance, unless you throw into a wide open motherfucker. But you make football plays that can happen in a game, period. Like, and it's just it. And that's part of football. I just don't think somebody in their right mind should do what the fuck Mike did, ever. Like, that's it. That was
You
just,
call blitzes to get a sack, right?
yeah.
I, I'm just trying to figure out what are we talking about here.
No, because see, the perception of it is already like minds are made up when it come down to that, right? Again, as the head commissioner of, you got to understand where I'm at, hitter. Where I'm at is I'm in a situation where some things won't be ignored a little bit now, and here's why. We asking guys to continue to play a league that they know at this point right now, I'll be giving everybody something fresh right now. So I understand some things that I can and can't do, or things that I can't let or not let. But I refuse to let anybody think that they can threaten anything I got going on, period. Period. And I'm not saying somebody did this. I'm just saying this is where my mind is at. I'm not saying that. I'm always going to be protective of my fucking brand, period. And my brand, I try to have everybody enjoy themselves for as much. But what I do know is not everybody is always going to be enjoyable to shit. Guys can be in my face telling me or having fun, and then something don't go their way, and then they're mad about it, and their attitude overthinks their rational thoughts of this is a good league, a consistent league, and before I quit, let me just give myself some time to calm the fuck down. And guys leave, and I get it, right? I understand that. So my thing is, the niggas that's in this league right now, everybody in this league is very important to our league. And most of the guys in this league, I got a different respect for in different ways, but I respect every last person in this league. So when guys have something to say, I try to do best and listen to it. I'm not like some of these guys that don't give a fuck what y'all talking about, is their way or no way. And we know what can happen in those situations. I've never been that type of person with running my league, but this is my league. So because of that, I have to, respond to certain stuff. I have to try to figure things out and make sure everybody's enjoying themselves as much as possible. So in that situation, to me, that just was some fuck shit, right? That somebody did. In my opinion, Mike did some bullshit. He know he did some bullshit, and he wouldn't do it again. But how the reaction and response was more important than what the shit was to me, right? And I guess because I responded the way I did, I seen some other responses of, I might not win in this league, but if niggas do that to me, and matter of fact, I think Los said that shit, and he made me pay attention, because the other shit I ignore, I see, but I ignore because I always see intent to shit. With Los, that made me look at it like, I would be mad as hell if I was Los, right? If I'm Los and I'm playing no matter win or lose, I'm playing my games and here to enjoy myself, and niggas is doing that to me, and I'm already, struggling a little bit to get wins in this league. I ain't trying to hear that shit, bro. I'm gonna be the same way, man. Fuck that. But guys should know that, right? Like, why would hitter kick 7 on or 4 onsides against low? Like, why would you do that? That don't make no sense. That's what situational mean. You know
I
what I'm
wouldn't
saying?
kick go onside if I was down by 21 either, because I
Mm-mm.
wouldn't want that guy to score on me again if I don't get the ball.
So that was the
It just,
attitude of a
I
guy.
mean,
You
I
got.
mean,
I guess I'll fit it to you this way, right? I think
I'm
Mike.
not doing that.
Yeah, but see, but Mike's problem was this. Remember, even though he won that game against you, Mike was mad about you getting those onsides on him.
I was mad about him running into my defender and getting a pass interference
And
on me.
I
What y'all
and
gonna
and
do?
and, and I understand that, but have you tried to do that to anybody else yet?
No,
Okay,
no.
that's my point. So now think about a guy and their attitude. That attitude carried over to our conversation of us telling him there ain't no glitch, bro. I know they showing it online on how to do it, but that don't mean it's a glitch. They show you how to do damn near anything. And then him hearing our conversation, he was part of it. On your broadcast, we're talking about the onside kick, and me telling you, damn, hitter, you kind of got that shit mastered, bro. I would do that shit every game. Fuck that. Simple as that. You can steal a possession that way against anybody. Like, damn, that's how I was talking. So I think by the time he got to that Super Bowl game, I mean his Super Bowl, if we look at it that way, he get to Craig, and he already mad.
I'm going all in.
He already mad. He already mad because he heard what Craig said in the chat before they played, like a day or two before they played. He already
I mean,
mad. Like, what the
that was
fuck?
partly my fault too. You know what I'm saying? I instigated that shit. You know, but
He already mad as hell. So then he do that bullshit. Oh my God! It's still going to
he,
score.
he
At
didn't
the
get
end
the
of the
butt
day,
ball him, so
at
he had to
the
try something else. You know what I'm saying?
at the end of the day, what was the score of that game?
It was 60. It was 60 to a lot at one point. Then he got the kickback and he made it a little bit, closer. Oh, that game was over. It was over.
All right,
It was
then.
over before it started.
What are we here talking about it for? I'd have laughed at that nigga, and that's that, and that would have been it. It would have never
I
been in
mean,
the chat. That I'd have just laughed. Ain't get your goofy ass
I
out.
get Craig's side. I get Craig's point
I
of
mean,
view on it too because I mean, what are you doing? Like, come on,
yeah,
bro. You're already losing bad. You're not getting these back.
at
Why are you
all.
giving me the ball at the
Why?
35-yard line
Why?
and then expecting
Why?
me not to
Why?
score?
Why you?
That's
Why
what I'm gonna do. You give me the ball right here. I'm gonna
you?
score, and you know what? I'm gonna dive in the
Rolling on
end
the
zone.
floor
I'm gonna
laughing
dance.
man face
I'm gonna do
gleam.
my diddy
Medium
bop. I'm
dark
gonna
skin
do it
tone.
all, and then guess what? I'm gonna hot kick your ass right back. You know what I'm saying? Right in that corner. And then if you fumble, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna score again. That's what you're supposed to do. You come in the game, you trying to win. I don't, you gotta leave the feelings at home, bro. I mean,
Yeah, but nah, but
it's
God, but you asking niggas in competition to do that, and I would love for that. I'm a
I
guy
love the
that.
Rolling on the floor
competitiveness, but you
laughing.
gotta leave the emotions out of it.
You, but see, hit it. That's cool for you to say because you never come into it with emotions. You always leave the emotions out. It take a nigga to say some shit to you after a game for you to really respond or say anything. You don't take a loss like some guys. Some guys really is this shit personal for them, and especially when they playing certain guys. Because I'm one of them. So I could get it, but you can't do that. Like you can't let yourself go over it. Because what end up happening is it be ammo for certain. When certain niggas do shit, man, I'm gonna just call it what it is. Especially niggas that's around me. They do shit that be the ammo for niggas to be all DMing niggas and talking about and let his boys do it. Like it's always an underlying situation and all that shit. So some people gotta be held to standards of doing shit, bro. Like you just can't do anything anytime you want because if that's somebody else that do that shit, it's something that's said, but I don't think it's here, commish, why you doing all like, come on now, like all that shit.
Then you also gotta realize Mike had a special season this season. I
He
mean, he
did,
did work.
he
You
did, he
like what goes
did,
back to my chat.
he did.
What I
But
said in the
it,
chat, you work hard to get to the playoffs, and then you gotta play these Brahmas. No, this is not what I want.
and
I want to at least win one playoff game. Why
but
I gotta keep playing these NFC West
what
guys
you
every
do?
season, bro?
Did you lose your shit after losing to Jimbo?
No, I'm
Did
just
you
saying,
lose
no,
your
I'm
shit? Did
not
you
me,
lose
but
your shit in the
I
game
didn't have a
playing
special
Craig
season.
over the
I
first?
didn't have,
I get that.
no, yeah,
Mike had a
no,
special season. I
yeah,
get it. It's a
yeah,
little different for
yeah,
him. He had a
yeah.
special season, and at the end of the day, reality sets in. You're playing a nigga that win all the balls. What do you think gonna happen? What the fuck? Now, is it different? Like, do Mike have a different attitude when he played me? Sometimes. Don't think Mike don't have them same fucking attitudes when he played me, bro, or he played Falk. The nigga be just as mad losing to us when he know he gonna lose to us. That's what I fuck with the nigga for. I fuck with him because he loyal as fuck. He more loyal than anybody in this motherfucker, period. Point blank, period. So when I say Mike don't do no shit like that, I ain't got no arguments, no nothing. I ain't got to worry about nothing. He just ain't gonna do it no more. It's just that simple. It'll never happen again. That's it. And the first thing he said to me is, I apologize, bro. I ain't mean for them to look at me as a commissioner and say I'm doing something wrong. I was just mad. Bro, I hear you, but yeah, don't do no shit like that no more. But at the same time, the fuck is going on? What you mean? Let me read this shit. Oh, all right, let me respond. This is my response. All right, cool. And then I knew once we do a show, we'll have this conversation because we need this stuff. And at the end of the day, this is the type of stuff that sparks things. That sparks good, not just
No,
bad.
conversation is always good.
Always
Don't
good,
get that
bad
wrong. Don't get that misconstrued. But you can't just be one sided in the conversation. You got
at
to be able
all.
to see both sides
And
and
that's
maybe
what
even
I'm
a third.
learning.
You know what I'm
That's what I'm
saying?
learning to do, Hitter. You know me. Once I got my mind made up on shit, right? And I could be dead ass wrong because I didn't take this onside high kick conversation the way most might have thought I took it. I took it a totally different way. You know which way I took it. I'm not gonna say it out loud. I took that shit a whole totally different
Yeah, but
way
I
and was
mean,
and protect mode right away. Not protecting Mike, protecting my shit. Period. And it was like, oh. And then I realized, wait a minute, let's sit back and listen and understand and really see what motherfuckers is really saying. Instead of just being defensive all the time, see what's really being said. And I understand it, and I think this
so
conversation was worth it.
we put it like this: if we didn't have these defensive rules in place, right?
Hmm.
And you came out and someone kept running zero blitz against you every play. you would think that that was a glitch,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Mm-hmm.
would. Because
Mm-hmm.
why the fuck are you zero blitzing me every down,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's the same logic as that, right? So just because someone does something over and over and over again doesn't mean it's something else behind it. It might be, and then it might not be. It's always 50-50. You can call zero blitz on me, and I've done it. But I also know that there's niggas in this league that love when they see a zero blitz. Because they read it, and guess what they're going? They're going to dot your ass up with a nice little route, whatever the fuck they doing, because I don't know how to do it. But they do it, and they beat your ass down the field. And
They
and you
gon'
don't come out and you don't
they
do the
gon'
zero
they
blitz
gon'
no
they
more of that
gon'
game.
they gonna block that shit up. Ooh, baby, the shit out you.
Who baby the
Oh
shit
my
out of you,
god,
right?
they gonna
They
block
find
that
out
shit
who's
up.
lined up
And
against the
ooh, baby, the shit
linebacker
out you.
or the safety or whoever the fuck is the mismatch, and then they put them on whatever route they put them on, and then you be like, that ain't work out how I wanted it to work out.
But we do agree that it's excessive and shouldn't happen again. That never should happen
It's
again.
excessiveness in anything is not tolerated.
Right. And that's what we and that's
Inside
That's
zone,
my defense
powers,
down the right lane, but they're never saying you're
whatever
not
you, the
blocking me anymore,
RPOs.
you know.
Come on, we could do
I'm
this
not
all day
saying it's a win
long.
or loss.
but
Am
that's
I?
but that's the point. Hitter. That's where that was my first view of the shit when I saw it. Again, first I had to stop being defensive about shit. Right? It's things that make me go in protect mode. That has nothing to do with anybody. Look, it's things that
We
it
can go to
has.
the jet sweep. Some niggas run the jet sweep where you like, come on now, they don't do this on my team. Why the fuck is this nigga taking it 60 yards for
But
me?
that's what I was saying. But I was saying you can go on YouTube and find anything, and it could be upset. Like, but that's what we. But I think that's what another thing.
Well, I
That's what
understand
Craig
that
was
inside
saying,
zone
and I
bullshit,
think
but
in
medium
his
blocks can
league,
jump low.
we try to be as real as possible, right? Because if not, we wouldn't have rules to shit. Like we'll let niggas do it, play online games and run the same play over and over and over again. It's guys in the league right now that would love if I say, all right, it ain't no play calling rules. Right
I'll
now, would
sit in
love that
man
shit
all game. I would love to sit in man all game.
and would love that shit. Period. And
Would love it.
run stretch or dive all game long, or run the same play up and down the motherfucking field, right? But them same guys, when I put defensive rules in the league, what happened if I'd have turned the fucking offensive shit down to them one plays? Then niggas, just think about the reaction to that. I'm having niggas telling me that, yo, bro, if the defense like that, you should make the offense like that, right? And I'm thinking, some of you guys struggle to call a play. Period. What happens if I can't do that? So if you paid attention, I opened the defense back up some. I gave niggas more possessions to run the shit they already overrunning anyway, just by changing their playbook to the same coverage in every fucking formation. So I opened it up a little bit, right, on purpose because I do care what I listen to what the league niggas might think I don't, but I listen to the whispers in the conversation because most of that whisper get right back to me. I'm just a real nigga that ain't gonna tell you it got back to me. Simple as that. But I also know I got an attitude problem, and when I see things going a certain way, I think a certain way, and I'll be wrong. And instead of just listening and paying attention to these things and
Offensive
really
plays
seeing where it
include
go,
downfielding
I
finishing
fucking go.
about
I go
15
left
plays
to where I think
outside.
is going already. Like I'll predict something that don't need to be predicted, and that can get me in trouble a lot with the way I deal with shit. So I'm glad we're having this open conversation, and I'm gonna go back to the whole thing of a seven onside game should never happen for anybody. Like that shit should never
Oh
happen,
no, never, never,
ever again. That'll never
never.
happen again, ever. Like ever again. Like I don't care who it is. Now I don't give a fuck who it is. It could be a nigga. It could be a nigga that's losing by 80 in the second quarter, and that shit shouldn't happen. Like I just think that just shouldn't happen. You should protect yourself that way because if a nigga get it, you getting scored on right away. Because now you making a nigga that can score on you, put 80 on you, know that, all right, you been an asshole now. I don't give a fuck. I'm calling timeouts. I'm doing everything. And we don't want that. That's what the rules are in place for because we
That's
don't
what
want
I'm
There
that.
are
saying.
Yo,
impossible plays and
listen to this.
unpredictable plays in the game.
Listen to this. Listen to this. And 23 in real, I mean, 20, yeah, Mad 23 in real draft. You do remember the first three seasons, I wasn't allowing no upgrades or packages. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
What
I
happened?
remember.
What happened in those? What happened by season three? What happened? Because guys enjoyed it a little bit for the first. Like I think I had some stuff in play, but remember I was like nobody getting nothing. We not doing this and that. And then I started off and gave everybody 2 superstars because I had packages that I had already gave motherfuckers and forgot all about it. So to make it fair, I ended up giving guys superstars, right? Like and that's how we started real draft fall. But by season 3, niggas was getting beat by 70. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Remember niggas to the point where I had to say, fuck it, I gotta go through the league and build niggas teams for them. Niggas was getting aired. I'm talking about niggas was losing by 80, 70, 60 every game. Getting aired. I had to go fix the fucking teams and give niggas all types of help on their teams to even those scores up. To get those scores
That
back to
comes down to people that
30s.
they really don't know how to build and didn't understand the new
my
formula
my
that
my
Madden
point
had put out.
my point exactly. So again, I pay attention to a lot of that shit. Like I pay attention to these things. So when I do put stuff in place, I'm not thinking about the top guys that might think he's putting this role in because I'm doing. No, I'm thinking of the guys that are more that play every game every day and don't give me no shit. They don't care if they win or lose, and they might not win a motherfucking game, but they line up and they play every day 24 hours. I'm thinking about them more than I'm thinking about Falk or Craig or Max or Jimbo or Lee or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking about those guys where those guys are so important to me that what they think matters more than anything. And that's the whole thing of me with my league and what I'm trying to do. Period. So I knew that. So I know when I do certain things, I know how things go. We've been through it, right? We've been through it, bro, because there's guys that know how to build and there's guys that don't, or guys that don't pay attention to the build enough. And when you playing by season 3 or 4 and the guys that know what the fuck they doing got those teams already and you don't, you getting beat by 70. Simple as that. And it might be because you don't know what you're doing, or it might be you just get on and play your game. That's it. You ain't doing the training and shit. You know how many guys that I play and they be like, I'm hopping on right now, and 2 minutes later they like, come on, I'm ready. In my head, I'm thinking, you got 6 niggas you could train for an upgrade right now. Did you do that yet?
And that's important because not only do you upgrade your players through the XPs, but you might even get a trade upgrade
Yeah,
randomly.
but them the same niggas that's like, look at this team, bro, he cheating, and then they huddling up. Oh man, the fuck, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, nah, bro, like it's going. My league, editing league, you're going to see edits in my league. Period. Right? Period. You're going to see editing in my league, bro. Simple as that. But it's guys that I'll give you a prime example. Corey ain't winning because he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't losing because he wasn't good. He was losing because his team was ass. He ain't had no fucking abilities, no nothing. He was out here getting with niggas that got the best team on the game, team fucking loaded, getting with these niggas, getting with me, getting with us, with fucking stars running around everywhere. The moment I did the reset package and changed his team, NFC Championship 2 years in a row, first seed, 3rd year. The team matchup that matters. That fucking matters, right? And when I go away from all that shit and try to get back to what we was, it ain't gonna work. It don't work all the time because what happens is guys they ain't. You gotta spend. You can't be in my league without being intimate with everything. You gotta pay. You gotta be all over your team. And if you're not gonna do that, don't complain about nothing because if you complaining, and most of it be, and then I gotta come through and show love and do some shit. And to be honest with you, take money out my fucking pocket because I'm giving free shit away to niggas that'll pay for that shit. Period. And what you think how they feel? Fuck, bro. Like the fuck. Like, but I gotta do that shit because niggas ain't. You gotta. And my league is different, bro. We not just starting a league. We're not starting leagues where, you know, it's the regular dish and the draft class coming out. The highest nigga 70 overall, and all of them normals and all that shit. You're playing a guy that spend time doing everything to fix the league up to for most of y'all to enjoy that shit. And the guys that don't enjoy it, most of them are the guys that don't win no games. Simple as that. And I'm not saying the guys that don't win don't enjoy it because most of them are the reason why the league run. It's the guys that win and don't win because they can't build or they see a nigga team looking better than theirs. It's a lot of shit that go along with a lot of stuff, and it's because of the way my league is. So to get down with the league, to understand the whole concept of everything, my reaction is always I'm listening. Most commissioners don't give a fuck what the league saying, bro. That's how most niggas don't give a fuck it's their league, it's what they doing, and that's that. My 32 members got access to me more than any of y'all got access to any other commissioners who league y'all in right now. Pick up the phone or call me, and I answer at any moment, and we can get to talking about the game, talking about real life shit, and this is why we are who we are. Simple as that. So I do listen, but I also listen too much, and what I mean by that is before I open my ears and really listen to what you're really saying, I'm listening to why you saying it first, and sometimes it be reasons why niggas is saying shit. Simple as that. And because of that, I'm protected all the time. And I think in this situation, I was protected before I listened. And now that I'm listening, the dialogue is great and there's an understanding. And this is how we move forward. So moving forward from that, nobody should be doing that shit, like period. And it should be a real football decision in those moments, right? Like I have no problem with a nigga opening up the game with one or even coming out of halftime with one. I don't care if they winning or losing. You can try. Like I'm not saying don't do that shit. I'm just saying don't do the mic. We're gonna call that the mic rule. Don't do the mic. Well, anyway, 61 to 34 was the game in this game, and Trevor Lawrence went for 262, 5 touchdowns, no picks. He didn't even get sacked one time. All right, so the rookie he had 370, but he got sacked 5 times in that game and threw 4 picks. We look at the run game. Walker did his thing, was 3 touchdowns on the ground, 16 carries. He averaged 10 yards a pop in that game. And then let's look at the receiving stats right here. Kenneth Walker out the backfield also dominated. So he ran for 100 and caught the ball for 100. And he had 5 touchdowns to walk out of that game to take his team to the divisional round. Defensively, they went crazy. And we looking at what happened on the sack. Superman, Greg Russell had 2, 1.5 from my boy Brock Barnes. Barnes was the dog on Star. I don't think guys remember that year one. That motherfucker had a year. He wasn't even on ability. Maurice Stevens comes in, middle linebacker, rookie with a sack in this game. Ellington and then Robinson all had half a sacks. And the interception department, we had Tyrese Ellington at the user with the pick. Yin, the free agent still of the free agency, had a pick in that game. And then cornerback Trent Royer. How you say that name? Royer. He had a pick in this game as well. Moving the Seahawks on to the divisional round, lined up against the number 1 seeded Bears in a rematch that he was waiting for. On the other side, you had the Dolphins. I'm not going to talk about the Dolphins and the Jets games because both those games dropped in the third quarter. Now the Jets and the Steelers game dropped in a 7-point ball game with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Falk gave him the force. Onk didn't want that shit at all. But Falk was like, man, I don't want to play the game over. It is what it is type shit. He just came off vacation, had some things going on. So it didn't matter to him. But I'm telling y'all now, just to give the man his props, Onk did not want that fucking win, bro, at all. To the point where he really was mad about the win. And I thought maybe it might affect everything going forward because of how mad he was. But that's just the competitive nature in him. Period. And then me and Hoodie, it was a 28-10 game, third quarter, 3 minutes left, game dropped. Somebody turned his profile on in the house and dropped the game. We played a 10-minute quarter to simulate the rest of the third and whole fourth. And I kicked 2 field goals. He fumbled. I kicked the field goal. He fumbled. I kicked another field goal. Game was over. So it was 27-21, both those games. And it leads us to the NFC, who those games was actually played. And we're looking at what happened in the 49ers and the Rams game. And, of course, these two play good games no matter what. It's always a good, tough game. And you can see 21-16, the Niners pull a win off. And we take a look at what happened in that game. Kaepernick had 3 touchdowns in that game. Willis kind of played bad, 64.7. He had a touchdown in that game, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. So the pressure on defense was there. Epstein, 7 yards a carry on 10. No running back scored a touchdown. Neither one of their running backs really did anything in that game. And then, as you can see, the receiving game, Epstein out the backfield had 7 catches. Outside of that, really wasn't nothing going on. So to me, this was a defensive-led game for the most part, but obviously we only look at the winning team. Dante Whitner had 6 tackles along with Boner, and Hicks 5, Young with 5 as well. Tackle for losses, you had 3, Young, Holiday, and Smith. Sacks, you also had 3 with Brian Young. You had Holiday and Smith. And interceptions, you had 2 with Harvey Lott and Robert Bill Sr. all had picks in that game. Moving the Niners to the championship game. Then you get to the Bears and the Seahawks rematch. And this probably was the game, right? I would say so. 27-21, 6-point loss. The Seattle Seahawks go into Chicago and pull out a dub here. And let's see what happens stat-wise right now. So neither quarterback. Lawrence threw 2 picks in that game. but he still threw 262. 207 from Justin. They was playing a good game. Only one sack was given up in this game. And guess what? If the passing game ain't working the way I needed to work, we do got a dog in the backfield, and you see the 30 carries for 199 yards, 6.6 in the touchdown. There's your game right there. Kenneth Walker played really well in the playoffs. Jackson had, oh my God, Jackson did go off 6 for 146, 2 touchdowns, and you had Perry Walton with 6 Perry Walton with 3 catches, 93 yards and a touchdown in that game as well. Tight end Tune also scored in that game. Defensively, the Seahawks won, so the Bears won't be talked about. Ellington had 7 tackles. Craig Williams, the my player, had 6. Ron Byers also had 6. And you start looking at the tackle for losses. It was 2 from Stevenson. Sacks in that game, half a sack from Ellison and Barn. They got there at the same time. And then no picks in that game, moving the Seattle Seahawks back to the championship game to defend their Super Bowl against a division rival and the NFC West 49ers. Now, this is the first playoffs where we got 2 divisional teams playing each other in the championships. So the NFC North, the Steelers, and to me, the second best division in the league. Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens are matched up for the 3rd time, and the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks are matched up for the 3rd time. These games will be played tomorrow. I asked Craig on the phone not to play his game tonight because I have to finish the legend draft, fellas. I didn't want to be rushed into trying to make the draft in the middle of us trying to run to a Super Bowl. Right now, if I lose, it is what it is. I can get all the work done, but I'm gonna spend the rest of this night getting that draft class done for us, so we could be prepared and lock in to play. The Steelers is going to be a tough game for me because we play tough games, and then we can watch this Niners and Seahawks game, Steelers and Baltimore game to see who's in the Super Bowl for 2030. We'll get the times of what time these games will be played, and they will be posted for guys to be able to watch it. Now, if you're not in the playoffs right now, I will clean your roster up, do whatever you got to do, because you're going to be bringing in some from rounds 1 through 4, some really good pieces that can play right away. With that being said, I appreciate all y'all. It's not a person in this league that I don't or appreciate, because it's y'all that make us who we are. With that being said, man, holla at you when we holla at y'all.